1. Yespixel, episode 32 with our guest, MikeTheBard. But first, this episode is brought to you by Troms.
That's right. It is brought to you by me. That's right. I funded this entire thing. $0, baby.
How long is the show been going on actually? 32 episodes, 32 weeks. How many months is that?
Well, we started in June or July of the summertime, and I know because I was playing a very popular MMO from the year 2004.
BDO, right?
That looks like garbage, by the way.
It does.
Why
does it online?
No.
Worse.
Guild Wars
good.
1?
14?
No. A couple of us were playing
Yeah,
Final Fantasy
11, not 14.
11,
11, that's right, yeah.
The age old. And so that's how I remember, because I was leveling up my first character during our first few episodes.
Wow.
Very memorable. A lot of memories built on that game.
Yeah.
But it's not about that.
I've only spent like $250 on the podcast so far.
MikeTheBard.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not
just
bad.
for like hosting.
I
and
love
stuff.
how this camera, I look jaundiced.
This episode's also brought to you by kidney failure.
Jaundiced. Yeah. My liver and kidneys
you know what?
are
Sure.
not working.
But no, let's
Now that you
yeah.
mention it, I can see it. You
let's
shouldn't have said anything.
I know I should, but it's bothering me now, and it's like this isn't the camera I usually use when I'm
you
streaming.
look beautiful. All right, let's get the cat out of the bag
Thank
early.
you.
Address the heffalump in the room. Troms.
Yeah.
You have loyally and dedicatedly like a perfect service dog, leading 52 Chains and I around, keeping us from walking into traffic for 32 beautiful episodes.
That is true.
That's a perfect
That is true.
description.
There have been plenty of mornings where I had to wake up and Hydra's like, "Oh, we're gonna chat about this today,"
That's
and I
not
was like,
good. Don't do that. And me and
Maybe we
Fitzgerald were like, yeah,
shouldn't
let's do
do
it.
that.
He's like, ooh, actually. So, but Troms is going to be taking an indefinite hiatus from the host. He will always and will always be one of the founding hosts of the show. He can always come on whenever he wants. So he might just pop in random episodes. Of
Really?
course. This is a lifelong power that you have.
I was
Wow.
gonna come in and play.
Just play video games and just not say
Almost
anything.
said Rick Moranis, not Rick Astley.
Yeah, play Rick Moranis.
Should,
Little Rick
Moranis song.
Little
he
Bob
do-
and
hold
Doug
on.
McKenzie, a little Honey, I Shrunk the Kids,
He
Little
has
Shop
songs.
of Horrors.
Of
He
course he
sings?
sings. He's a theater boy.
Rick
Yeah,
Moranis,
well, Little
I
Shop
Ain't
of
Going
Horrors.
Nowhere. He made a song in
Let's go.
2017 called
Let's play it
Wheaties
on
Box.
stream.
Is he? Did he get punched in the face one time?
He has a pretty
Is that
He
the
was
punchable
right-
walking
face.
down.
Yes.
Like, he's walking down the street one day and
I don't
somebody
even
just
think it was
sucker punched
targeted.
him
I
and
think he
kept
just saw his
walking.
face and was
Yeah.
like, I gotta. What do you? It's like
Yeah,
you
it
see
was-
52 Chains in real life.
It was a Canadian tragedy. Whoa!
Hold on.
Damn,
man.
Guys.
Damn. Okay.
listen, this face is too handsome to be assaulted.
This is called Wheaties Box by Rick Moranis.
I can raise a glass.
Why
If
does
our
he
first
sound like
DMCA comes from
LGX?
Rick fucking Moranis, I'm gonna be so
It
mad.
probably
I'm gonna
will be.
so
It
mad.
probably will get. We'll just keep talking
I'm just gonna keep
occasionally
talking over
it.
this song as loudly as I can in a continuous,
Yeah.
monotonous tone, so that the sound that is coming from behind the video will be unheard and no one will have to. Troms, you can't get this video.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
And then I will continue.
Yeah, this is-
I maybe should have checked the licensing on that.
Yeah, who
It's like-
is that? Which company has that one?
MGM
Yeah.
Grand.
I
is
mean,
that-
it's just it's
Yeah,
Warner
Sony,
Media. It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Warner
Ooh,
Media. We're
ooh,
sorry.
ooh, ooh.
Listen, we appreciate Rick Moranis. I'm pretty sure I played less than 6 seconds of that. We're
Yeah.
good, right?
You can
We're
play
good.
up to
over
20.
all of it.
Give me 1 second. There's like a slight.
It was
There's a
transformative.
delay.
It was very. That
It
transformed
did,
the
it did.
media for me.
There's a delay in Discord, so I'm just gonna close and then come back.
Okay.
Oh, it's all over,
So
guys.
this is it. It's the end.
That's it.
It's all over now. This
That's
is it.
it.
This is gonna be like
Done.
that time you forgot
Oh my
to push
god! It only
record.
happened once. It only happened one time.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
I remember back when I used to make YouTube videos and just like recording hours of gameplay and looking and noticing I'd never hit record, and it was just like I
eventually had to start using what's it called, like the ghost replay thing in OBS, the stream buffer or the recording buffer, and I would be like, okay, something awesome happened, don't forget to hit the recording buffer. But then what happened was I had like 40 gigs of clips, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with all of this?
40 gigs. Yeah.
They're all out of sync. It was like saved them in weird orders. They weren't like chronological because like the way it names the files is weird. It was pain. I just recently deleted.
As huge.
It's not unlike Miles Away. I also started my YouTube journey on PUBG. But unlike Miles Away, I saw exactly zero success.
Were you a PUBG partner?
No.
Oh,
nice.
I was.
You're the third one.
Yeah, you think you're special,
really?
Mike?
Yeah, 3.
You think you're a special guy?
One of many.
I should turn my camera back on, huh?
I didn't even tell you all my partnerships yet. That's just the first one, man. I'm super special.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just a ton.
Well, before you tell us about that, let's talk about Nopixel.
PUBG.
Are you a Nopixel partner?
PUBG?
The hell's
you guys?
Nopixel?
Could you imagine if there was no pixel partnerships, affiliates,
Battle Pass,
Battle Pass season?
All right,
what are we on?
Who's the first? Who's the first person
3.2?
to run both the Battle Pass and the partnership? We're gonna say the streamer on 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Sykkuno.
XQC.
52 chains.
What?
I couldn't think of anybody.
Buddha, yeah. The mayor.
Buddha would be a good one. I think it has to be
Current mayor.
Sykkuno though, right?
The juicer.
Yeah.
The juicer would be a good one.
Oh, because he likes to work towards
True.
you, right?
I think it would,
Like everything has to be.
I'd be scared to give XQC a battle
DLC.
pass. That'd be terrifying. He would just turn into a meteorite and bowl everyone over. I have to go.
Now you could be the meteorite on Nopixel. Once a tsunami, you get to choose where it lands.
That would actually be so sick.
It would be pretty cool.
I can already see his stream titles. Amazing streamer gets battle pass tier 52. Some shit like that.
Yeah.
But speaking of Nopixel, MikeTheBard, how's it going,
Hello.
man? Tell us about how you first found out, like, got into role playing, and then let us know kind of how that transitioned into Nopixel.
I'm an old man. I've been doing this thing for a while. I first started, so role playing for me, it sort of spawned in for me because I used to entertain my friends that, you know, like if we were sitting on a couch playing a game together, one person was playing the game, I'd voice all the characters and make up new dialogue, or I loved talking to NPCs and just interacting with the environment and that kind of thing. I would always do that. I'd barely play the game and just entertain people around me by just walking up to whoever and just doing a whole scene with them. So that's how I started sort of like the idea of role playing in video games for myself. And that was years and years and years ago. Role playing as we see it now in video games from like a streaming perspective or like playing together on a server kind of thing. I started with DayZ RP.
That's a good one. That was pretty early on.
Yeah, that was really early on. And also Arma 2 had a few servers. I think it was called Tacky Life or something.
One of them actually was called like was Nopixel Arma 3 or Arma 2? Got it.
Arma 3.
Dude, Arma 2 is special.
So, yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was something. And then it was Arma 3. So then Arma 3 came around and then I started role playing on all the Arma 3 servers. There was just a bunch of them and I just hopped to random ones and stream them and have fun singing to people. So most of the role play I was doing when I first started was my shtick was singing at people, I guess. I had a keyboard that I had, and I had a camera on the keyboard as well on the corner, and I would make up songs on the spot to people, either based on what was going on or just what we were talking about or whatever. And so that's really how I started. That was sort of my into role playing at the time, was just integrating music with role play. I still do it, but that's how I sort of started out. My character was always a wandering musician.
That's actually a cool, like jumping from server to server. It really gives you a lot of freedom in terms of like you're not tied down to any server or any role play or any, you can just jump in, do music. Because
back in the day, there wasn't really a lot of continuity either. Like, we log on now to Nopixel and our characters have lives and histories now, years of history. But back then it was really, you just jumped in and like had random conversations with random people on non-allow list servers, and just, you just went wild with whatever was going on at the time. There was some real wild stuff that wouldn't fly for sure. And you're just like, okay, well, I'm leaving this server now. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that just happened.
Bye forever.
Am I banned on Twitch? No. Okay.
Dude, one of the
apart from the
go ahead. No, you
go for it. Oh, apart from the whole TOS Pega shit, do you miss that aspect of jumping into a new environment, not knowing who you're gonna run into or what you're gonna run into? I kind of do.
Yeah, I do, because I enjoy that when it's safe to do so.
Dude, some of these servers now be wild
because it's almost like it is like Wild West-esque, because you're gonna get some amazing, like the most random hilarious stuff. Like, I remember we made a t-shirt off of something that happened on one of those public random servers, just something crazy that happened, but it was so memorable and fun and amazing that we wanted to capture that moment. Like, things like that would happen a lot, but then you'd also get the other side where it was just constant VDM, constant RDM, constant bad, slurs and things like that. And you're just like, I can't. Yeah. So you let go of the good to avoid all that bad, I think. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Russian roulette.
Yeah, it is. And especially if you're streaming, you just can't. You're
like
you're silly if you do that.
What are you doing?
Yeah, no.
Where's Gary's mod? Have you? Gary's mod is.
I did everything. I streamed. I used to stream. There was a server called like, that was specifically role play. Can't remember now, like Santos role player, Los Santos role play. But even though it wasn't Los Santos, do you remember that?
Moose Brother said he was on a server called Los Santos. He was on it. So was Chief. Chief
was there. Yeah, I know Chief from way back. We started together in
Gary's mod group. Okay, I see how it is.
Well, yeah, we played on that one, I guess, and but also, there was a group of. So I met Kiwo now. Kiwo.
Oh my gosh, so many other greats came from.
Yeah, Kiwo and Moon, and we all used to role play in DayZ together, and Chow and just this big group of people. We all met through I met Kiwo. She was Kiwi on at the time in Arma 3 on a random Arma 3 server. And I sang her a song and stuff like that. We've been friends ever since. Like, she's my oldest role play friend. I randomly ran into Lyric on that's what kind of kicked off my channel 10 years ago, was I ran into Lyric on a server. Yeah, I've been streaming over 10 years on Twitch.
I remember those Arma days. To think that it was 10 years ago, though, it's crazy.
Yeah,
flies, man.
It's a long time ago, man.
Dude, I wish I used to play Arma 2. I used to play like Epoch and stuff like that, like really like hardcore, like PvP, base building, raiding, PvE. I wish
Arma 3,
I wish I had found a role play server instead, because as much as I love that, it like really fed like my like sort of like competitive side. And I keep trying to play competitive games, and I just end up not liking myself when I get hyper competitive. And when I'm role playing, the competitiveness goes out the window, and I just want to make people laugh. I wish I'd found the role play instead of I have a bunch of great friends, and we all like love PvP games. But man, I'm jelly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I played Epoch and I played all those different mods, and that's how I met Brandon, who invented PUBG, right? And because that's where he started, was Arma 3. He made that mod,
Battle Royale mod. I
Battle
played
Royale.
that.
It was
we
called.
played the fuck out of that.
Yeah, and that's who made PUBG, and that's who made H1Z1's Battle Royale mode as well.
Genre changing.
It was, and that was him, and like he invited me to play on his game mode, and I was playing it, and it was that started a whole different genre. But so like Nopixel and PUBG both came from the same starting point of Arma 3.
That's crazy.
Wild to think about all that.
Dude, imagine if that guy had like just gotten sick and was like, I just don't feel like working on this, and we'd never have PUBG, we'd never have Apex, we'd never have. Or if like Coil hadn't have gone, I want to try because I met Coil on A3L, I think was the server name.
He got banned on that server. You don't know why he got banned?
I don't know why.
VDM.
I don't remember. Was it VDM? But he invited me to play on his server. He was starting up, and I went over, and here we are still. Yeah. It's, what was it called? What? Crystal Lake, Silver
Lake, I think. Yeah.
I remember the name of the city.
There's some Easter eggs around the server about Silver Lake.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
You know, one thing I feel like the community should be okay with is if like the first test group or the first adopters like you had a set of prio, just because Nopixel wouldn't be where it is without the people that gave it a chance like you did. If they got prio, I wouldn't be against it.
No shot. I don't give a shit. That'd be awesome.
Even if their role plays dog shit.
Yeah,
I'll be 100% with you. I'll be 100% with you. I do have that.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I wasn't going to say anything, but like a lot of people like
I do have that, and
it's deserved.
Thank you. I still feel bad. You know what I mean? Like, not like I had to fight queues back in Arma because there wasn't that. So there was 100 people on the server at a time, and I was sitting in a queue, not playing anything for my stream. Like people struggle with today with Nopixel the way it is now. I've been through that, and I know how awful, and especially because if it goes hand in hand with if you're trying to make a Twitch career or a content creation career at the same time, it's this. I know I've been there. I know that stress and that frustration, and you're trying to prove yourself over and over again, and you're not being seen, and you're just sitting there, that queue, staring at it, like you try to snipe it and you don't get it, and it's like, so I don't feel like, oh, well, of course I have it. Of course I'm able to log in because I've been around since the very first day. I'm lucky, and I'm thankful, obviously, because I see how the struggle, man. It's people I've been role playing with now for a couple of years that have joined the Nopixel community that are amazing role players that provide the most incredible stories and role play constantly. But there's no easy solution to it, unfortunately. Yeah. But I really feel bad. So yeah, I think there are people like myself that have been around since the very beginning. I think that may have like that, whatever the top prio is, just like as an OG legacy thing. But
you're foundational. It's just like what I was saying about Troms, right? Like you're foundational.
Sure.
Like without you, like the thing probably wouldn't have happened, And not saying you specifically are special, but like without the collective you of the people who put faith in Coil and like played on that server, I mean, it might not be here.
And I appreciate it, obviously, because I mean, like this is my full-time job and career, and it helps me. But I know that there's so many people out there that, God damn, man, I use the +1 system every
fucking guy, dude. My guy. Thank you.
Are we past the 5-minute mark? I just dropped an F-bomb.
Like slash a word, by the way. Slash a word.
We didn't even make it to 5 minutes.
We did make it. I'm sorry. Anyway,
that was my bad.
I'm so Canadian. But
Canadians, man.
It's
That's how
part
I
of our.
learned.
Part
Do
of
you
our
find that
language.
Must be-
strong?
must be
Culture.
Canadian.
Do you find
yeah.
that?
Sure, my dad talked to any of his friends.
Everyone off the
Yeah.
fucking road, get some
Just
fucking
gets on the
darts.
phone and it's
Oh,
F-bombs.
let's get in the fucking bud. Yeah, let's go,
I'm
bud.
fucking sorry about that.
Yeah, let's go for a rip.
That was a terrible.
Pick me up some fucking all dress chips, bud.
Some ketchup chips. But yeah, it's the prio thing is it's always been touchy. It's always been because it's about fairness at its core, but there's no way to truly make it, what is fair, right? There's only so many slots before it lags out. Like
Everyone can't
when-
be there. It's not.
no, when 1.0, but even before Nopixel had a GTA server, I was on the SOE server, State of Emergency. No, I can't remember the name of the very first. I was the second Twitch streamer to stream GTA roleplay. The first one was Dimitri's photography. It's just Dimitri now, but I saw him doing this roleplay in GTA. I'm like, what is this? And I downloaded GTA and I got in there, and it was, I think we had like 12 or 18 people max at the beginning. Anything more than that, and everyone would constantly get instanced into their own game, and
alone.
you'd be driving around, because how big is that map? And imagine only 12 or 18 people.
Yeah.
You would never find anyone anyway. So you'd just be like driving around,
Where's
walking
everybody?
around, not seeing anybody. But yeah, so it'd be like an hour, and you just type in the global chat like,
Is anybody at Legion?
is anyone? Yeah, exactly. Is anyone in Legion Square right now? Yes. Where are you? I need to
So
and then
funny.
you'd find out everyone was instanced that constantly. That you'd just be in your own game, right? Like,
Can I try to say something to
the fact that
sorry.
No, I was just going to say the fact that we have so many people that can make it in at once right now, and it's semi-stable for most people, is like a miracle, man. It's just,
Oh man, compared to
holy
early on.
shit. Oh, and I know sometimes people still have trouble going through certain areas, or if
Oh yeah.
there's underground tunnels or whatever. They've tried to fix that recently, but it's
it
pretty
always
amazing.
It always surprises me the layers of everything. So
Mhm.
like when a lot of things, we talked about this on another podcast, but I was specifically mentioning audio, and Mike, you probably remember audio from early on.
Yeah.
Before TeamSpeak with
Before TeamSpeak.
I can't remember what that it was. It seemed like they just used like some in-game function for voice.
There was
Mumble,
in game.
right?
We literally actually had to use Mumble at one point. Like you had to have, just
Right.
like we had TeamSpeak, you had to have Mumble open at one point. I remember.
Right, because I was around for the switch to Toko VoIP or like TeamSpeak or whatever.
Yeah,
Because that was, for me, that was one of the like changes where it went from being, your voice had a specific radius, you could hear people 100% like as soon as you got in that bubble, to, well, now we have like, distance voice where people could sound quiet the further
Is it
they were
occlusion?
away.
Is that what that's called?
so
Occlusion,
amazing.
Maybe.
Yeah. And then
Maybe. Yeah.
what you brought up with like Legion Square got me thinking about like the little tiny things that we take for granted every day. And I think a lot of them kind of get shirked off by most of the community, but as like a police officer, you actually get to see a lot of these little mechanics that are running constantly on the server.
Right.
For instance, evidence collection. You fire a gun, you fire anything that leaves like a casing or something like that, it leaves a trail. You hurt yourself. You hurt yourself enough that you bleed, you're going to leave a trail. You're going to leave your DNA. You crash your car, you shoot a car. There's a chunk of that car that leaves like a specific paint marking that says like, oh, this is this color car, right? And that's all handled by the server. And on top of that, we have stuff that we don't even see. For instance, the canine, all the canine units, they have like a tracking ability. So you can actually like follow and track someone using your canine. And they'll lock onto like a scent, or in this case, like the trail of a player, and they'll try to follow it as best as they can. And they can actually like follow and lead
I want to
people.
see a dog just start climbing up a ladder.
Dude.
He's so sick.
Oh, that
They like they crumple inside out and start climbing with their teeth.
They do. You've seen them in cars, right? When they drive cars, if
when they get held up,
when they open the door and get in,
or
they
using a gun, or that's always hilarious. But yeah, you're right. the underlying systems that we take for granted. I mean, it's the way that it works and the fact that all that stuff works is
right. Is testament to like how well the devs do, like with everything.
Yeah.
Like, even the in-game radio took
yes.
I can't remember who's working on it for so long. Like just to get
Nikes.
that functioning. Nikes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think like where it's all come from.
We used to, like, speaking of the radio, the evolution of that is funny because when we, back in the Arma days, I wanted that. I wanted to be able to broadcast music to people in Arma. So Coil came, I'm assuming it was Coil or someone he was working with, but Coil, I imagine, came up with the in-game radios, making it so that I could broadcast on a channel and it would go, like, it would have a bigger range, right? It would go all over the island. And then now we've got this, now we're at this in-game radio, like in cars, and you can hear NPC drives by and I hear my own song. And I'm just like, what in the hell is this? Like, this is so, and now Siren Radio is making a comeback on Nopixel. It used to be through Discord. Now they've gone back to broadcasting on the radios, like the old days in Arma, where they have an encrypted channel
that they can like let people get the key to or whatever, right?
Full circle, yeah. So the one person that runs it, like, they just signed Hubcap up to do a show once a week or something. They have the encryption key, and they unlock it.
It'd be awesome if that could play through the car radios too. If you could go to Siren Radio, the car.
Maybe they're gonna. I have a feeling that maybe they'll work. Like, I haven't heard anything, but I can see the evolution. Like, making that, because it used to. What am I thinking of? You used to be able to listen on your phones.
Yeah, because there was, I remember
that?
Yeah, the app.
One of the major events was the Gnome Manifesto by Moon and Young Dab.
Yeah.
And he had like this manifesto written out that he was going to broadcast to everybody, trying to like destabilize the government and whatnot. It's what eventually got him terrorism.
Right.
And he broadcasted, he had to go through Discord, and it was broadcast to, I'm not sure where, but people were able to listen. And it felt like at that moment, for like just a second, like the entire server stopped and everyone just like tuned into their radio to listen to this like terrorist manifesto.
It was it was through the phones, and it was a stream from, because that was Afro's thing. He set that up, the radio stations, through Discord, and that went to your in-game phone.
That's crazy.
So you pull up your phone, it was an app on your phone, and you launched it, and it literally played the stream that was coming, the streaming information that was coming from that Discord room on the server. Was that 2.0?
It was 2.0.
2.0, yeah. I forgot what the app was called, though.
I don't remember.
Something Cloud. It was like a play off of SoundCloud, I think.
Right, yeah. And it was, I think it even might have used SoundCloud as a part of the streaming thing. But anyway, it was through Discord, and it would stream it to this people's phones. Because when I was doing a concert, they would have me log into the radio on the Discord. So I'd be doing my usual concert thing in game to the people in front of me. But I would also log into the Discord room because I had access to it, and I would broadcast over the radio at the same time. So people would be in their cars driving around or walking or wherever they were in Nopixel. They could listen to the concert from their phone. I'd be at Tequila La or the amphitheater or something playing a concert, and they could, if they couldn't make it to the event, they could pull up their phone and listen to it on the app.
Why is the stadium so underutilized?
It's the same as
a lot of events.
Yeah, it's the same as anywhere else on the server for events. It's out of the way.
It's not that out
even
of the
though
way.
It doesn't. I know, but but you'd think that.
You know what it is?
What?
I feel it's because there's too many options. When you have like a plethora of options, back when the server was 18 people, and you had opportunities to gather or something, people used to leap at that. But now
Everyone would show up to everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but now
True.
because there's so many other options, it doesn't give it as much weight. So that's one of the downsides with having it solves problems, but then it introduces new problems when you have everything you need.
I think that's just game dev, right? And balancing and just trying to constantly, like when the pier shut down, like that the pier was. I hope they bring it back.
Yeah, it's the storefronts
because
like
everyone agrees. Everyone agrees though that was like the hub. It doesn't fit. Then Burger Shot became the hub. You know what I mean? Like I still go to Burger Shot. Hubcap worked there for 2 years, but like he doesn't anymore. But I still go there constantly because it's still, at least you're going to run into some random people you might never role play with, and you can at least start up some stuff with them
of the most
from there and move from there.
Just from like bumping into somebody at the pier. There's just so many people.
Yep.
And you'd say one thing and one person would like not even know what the hell you're talking about. And they'd jump in and then it would turn into this big confusion. And suddenly you're in like a 13-person brawl.
Yeah. And a gang would show up and you'd be like civs that like have their little booths, selling soaps and things like that. And then here comes like Chain Gang and you're all of a sudden you're interacting with Buddha. And it's like, that was brilliant.
Mickey gave me $1 million at the pier one time. He was like, you really don't want to
like
dodge
that.
this. And he hit me in the face with $1 million.
Yeah. Things like that would happen, right? And yes, sure, there'd be like a gang war would break out or just random fist fights. There's a lot of fighting and death and whatever, but someone would pick someone up and throw them off the side of the pier. But there was also the meshing of the whole server, the whole city was there. And it was brilliant. And I would play a concert every night there because there was always an audience. There was always new people to hear some music and hang out and enjoy that ambiance.
I miss like going by and hearing Mike Block can suck my dick.
T song, yeah. All TV Man songs just blasting. But even like Burger Shot had their little mini restaurant there. Right? It was a vibe, man. And so going back to the original question is, why is the amphitheater so underused? There's 2 or 3 amphitheaters.
But when I say it, you know which one I mean.
Yeah, the main one. But then there's also 2 other cool ones, like out in the wilderness. Like there's a lot of cool venues on the server, but they're not hubs. So what they did to combat that, or something that was really cool, is when they came out with microphones that you have to peek at, and you use the microphone, and all of a sudden your range on the microphone goes. So when they first implemented that at the amphitheater, you could hear it at the vault.
Awesome.
And you could hear it at Legion.
You almost still can.
I don't think it's changed, and you can hear it at Legion Square Bank. So that's the radius. It's friggin' massive, right? So what that did is people would start showing up because they would hear it and be like, where is this coming from? So at the beginning, I started saying, I'm over at the amphitheater. Come over to the amphitheater, right by Legion Square, across, up the street. And people would just show up. It worked at first. People don't anymore, I don't think. But that was a cool way to bring people so. And then also twatting out, it's so weird saying, did you see that twat on Twitter?
I just say Twitter.
If you say that anywhere, but
bro, check out my twat.
Nopixel people are like, yeah, did you see the twat she twatted at? It's just like, what did you just say? Like, what? You can't say that. But yeah, the in-game Twitter.
Coyle knew what he was doing.
Of course they did. Well, they couldn't say Twitter, right? So, but
especially not after the Life Invader Facebook thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I do recall that one going.
A full rebrand to making Life Invader Facebook, and then in like less than a month it was gone.
I still can't believe we kept all those cars for as long as we did.
I was just thinking the same thing.
They're skull cars. But anyway, I'm sure they're being taken care of. But I remember. Yeah. Oh, okay. I gotcha. I remember in the Arma days, we had a Taco Bell and a McDonald's and stuff. A lot of us were walking around going, I don't. Can we? Is this okay? Like I'm talking about like menus and stuff too.
Can I
Like
get a
it
double
was
quarter
just
pounder with cheese.
straight. Yeah, it was straight up a McDonald's, and it was just like, are we? It's interesting because with all this stuff, and I know we're all like walking on eggshells about it in regards to today's server, but it's an interesting discussion because it's like, is this parody? Is this, where did the laws come in and what's okay? Like Hubcap had because I have to get Hubcap's clothes specially made because he's that kind of model.
Oh my god, Hubcap's
in
a
the
model?
game, and I did. He's a model. Oh my god, he's just like, yeah, he's on the runway. He's on the catwalk.
Vogue's lizard skin issue.
Yeah, but he's but I had Converse shoes, and I had to get my tailor to alter the logo, with the recent stuff. I'm like, can you switch that up, please? Just want to make sure that doesn't get anyone in trouble. But
shoes.
The Clonverse, but it's an interesting discussion with roleplay because roleplay has broken a lot of ground. Not even just Nopixel or GTA, but like, I've been doing music stuff through my microphone. So that means that other people, not only are they hearing what I'm putting out, but if they're streaming or recording it for YouTube or wherever, then they are now presenting that material to their audiences and they are responsible for that. You know what I mean? Just like on Twitch, if someone says a slur but I didn't say it, but they said it on my stream, I am legally responsible by the terms of service and also by probably some laws and stuff. So it's really all this stuff is very interesting.
Unless you have a guest star on.
Did you see that with the guest star guy was offline? He was just sitting at his computer, messing in his OBS, but he wasn't live. But then someone else was live that had his scene from his OBS. So he was just sitting there and he could have been doing anything.
Could have been naked. Could have been anything.
He could have been anything. But he was just rearranging his scenes. He was not live, but because it was a live scene that connects to a browser. The other person who had streamed with them before and had their scene still on, as soon as they opened up their OBS, their scene, which was their camera,
could have been taking
went
his girlfriend to
live.
Pound Town.
Anything, and went live on that other person's stream who was live streaming, and they're like, "What the? Why all of a sudden do I have this guy's camera on my stream?" And he's just like. Someone messaged him. It's like, do you know that your camera is live on this person's stream right now? Kind of thing. And he's like, what? I'm not even live. What? So his
wait,
there was
keep it up there.
No, well, they made a joke out of it eventually, but it was clarified, I think, where the way that they did it, you're not really supposed to do it that way because that could happen. I think they used it not that they were wrong or did it incorrectly, but you're supposed to delete the scene after, or you're not supposed to use it the way they used it. Allegedly,
it's definitely their fault, not Twitch's. Twitch would never.
Yeah, it was. It's not it had nothing to do with Twitch, but it was just the way that it was set up. But knowing that could happen, holy shit!
Yeah, that's
not that any of us do anything in front of our computers, but it's just it could happen. You know what I'm saying?
You guys want to be guest stars on my stream?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to be guest star on anyone's stream just in case, man. I'm scared.
It was picking up his microphone too.
Yeah, it was microphone and cam because whatever the scene was broadcasting to the browser, right? So it was web based, cloud based, and it just was now live on someone's stream.
And OBS wasn't indicating anything, right?
Well, no, their OBS would not have been. It wouldn't have. You wouldn't have known. You wouldn't have known.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And if he did something, he would have been banned, the guest star, because Twitch is
and
TOS.
so was the person that was streaming would have been banned. Yes, because that's my whole point is you are responsible. The way I describe this to people is that don't really get it is why can't you play copyrighted music on your stream? Well, because you're essentially presenting a TV show. I think we're essentially could be considered governed under the same laws because there's nothing else to
Right.
govern us, to govern Twitch. It's based in California, I think, right? So it's California law, and we all agree to it when we sign up, and
Right.
blah blah blah. None of us read anything, but
I can't read.
we agree to that, and to be governed by that. And the laws are, U.S. laws, which is, if you're a TV show, you have to have all the rights to the music. You have to, you can't present anything that's not appropriate for certain age groups. Have to be protected, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like all of this, I am responsible for whatever shows up on my stream, whether I did it myself or not. You know what I mean?
Twitch should have opened in the Cayman Islands. They could have avoided all that.
That happens, right? There's certain services that'll move to avoid either gambling laws
Like
or
Stake. Is Stake based in the Cayman Islands? And it
is
owns
what?
Kick,
The gambling
Stake,
website.
Stake, the company that
Oh, I don't
gambling
know
webs-
about that. Yeah.
it owns Kick, right? So
Oh,
maybe that's
yeah.
why Kick doesn't have stringent TOSs. Kick has
Well,
some of the wildest things, man.
Look,
Streaming
the
on
whole
it.
the whole thing is still pretty Wild West. I know we feel in quote unquote, right? We don't. It seems like there's more and more rules all the time, which there probably should be for certain things. But like,
I agree.
there's been cases recently of allegedly where people allegedly were having sex on stream allegedly, and they got unbanned after allegedly 3 days. I say that a lot.
Are you talking
Allegedly, just
about
protect everyone here
dude
and
with
myself?
the girl's hand under the table?
Allegedly.
Well, there's that one, but there's
That's
also
Twitch.
allegedly, exactly.
That was Twitch.
Do you hear? Do you
Yeah.
hear these
Hey,
words?
listen, I'm just saying somebody's hand
but
was
yeah,
under a
there-
table. That's all I'm saying.
There's hands under table, but there was someone that
Are you talking
just
about the? Are you
was
talking about
doing
the
the
girl who was
thing.
like you could see her boyfriend in like the
Mhm.
window? Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey,
And
Troms, why are your hands under your table?
It was hand
What's going
check.
on?
You're seeing both of them. That's all I got to say. But but no, it's and then people get them banned. So it's still kind of wild out there. It's not the necessarily we want to be heavily monitored in every word, because that's one of the reasons why I hadn't reinvested myself in YouTube, because I do swear a lot naturally, and it's, of course I can control myself if I really focus, I can focus on it and really try, but my natural entertainment, I do swear a lot because it's just part of how I talk. It's part of my culture, and it's so they're removing some of that, right, on YouTube, where you can swear a little bit more freely within reason, etc., and you won't get demonetized as much, allegedly, apparently. I don't want to misquote anyone, but yeah, it's it's still very loose in terms of laws, and that sort of circles back around to what is presented in games or servers. In terms of branding and that kind of thing, it's still very,
Yeah, it's definitely
Who knows?
there's a lot to consider, and we just kind of, I think everybody kind of just puts their head down and hopes that it's not me, right? Not me.
I'll be honest with you, I'm really strict about not playing copyrighted music on my stream. I know most people do anyway, or they split the tracks or whatever, and there's lots of different ways to do
I
it.
still feel awkward when I go to watch someone stream and they're playing copyrighted music. As a listener, I'm like, no, what are you doing? And I know they're splitting their audio. I know they're okay. And also, it's not my business.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. Yeah,
When
it's
people split their audio, okay.
yeah, it's up
audio
to it's.
Although
no,
anytime somebody
I
splits
think
their
it's
audio and I
fine.
catch them singing along to the song, I clip it. So because when you play back, it's just them singing but out of key, and that's funny.
Right, because there's no backing track. But yeah, I mean, this is something I've as a musician I deal with a lot, and as a streamer, these issues come up a lot. I was heavily into Twitch Sings when that was a thing.
Man.
And I loved
Dude,
that.
I literally just bought an Oculus with Beat Saber when they were like, no more
Nice.
copyrighted music. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, see that this is where more discussions come in, because some games license their music
Cyberpunk, they did that.
specifically for streamers or content creators because they know that's a big market, they will ensure that the licenses that they buy cover streamers. There's like streaming and YouTube content, so they won't be flagged in audio bots, and they specifically don't. And so that the artists won't seek out DMCA or anything like that because it's licensed, right?
Rockstar, please, Rockstar.
Yeah,
Jesus.
but if they can't do that, if they're not willing to pay, and this is what it all comes down to, is licenses. That's why Twitch stopped, in my opinion, didn't renew Twitch things for another year. The astronomical amount of money you have to pay to license music, because I've looked into it for myself as a musician. Like for me, like especially with video, if I just wanted to grab my guitar here and play you a cover of something, I would have to have the sync rights, which is video. I'd have to have the licensing rights from everybody that has the rights to the song.
So annoying.
So if there was 10 people that have credit in writing the lyrics, I would have to get all 10 of their permission to cover the song, first of all, audio wise. I'd have to get all 10 permission to cover the song video wise, which is a sync license. And then there may be other mechanical licenses, but those are just the 10 people that wrote the lyrics. Then I'd have to find like whoever
right?
has. Each person has the right to charge whatever they want for the rights to the song, depending on laws and where you live. But generally, like each one of those 10 people that have the writing credits for the lyrics could say $1,000, $1 million, $5. Go ahead and do it for free. I don't approve of you doing it.
You can't.
As soon as you hit that, I don't approve of you doing it. You can't do it legally. So I can't, like right now, I can't pick up that guitar and play you Stairway to Heaven, Freebird, whatever.
I mean, you couldn't do it.
I can't do that.
I mean, prove it. Prove it. If you can do it, prove it. No, wait, this is my podcast. Mute. No, okay, wait, I'm sorry. You can do 2 seconds of it, right?
I think it's a max of 20 seconds, right?
No, it's like 3.
No,
Zero?
there's zero.
You could argue
zero.
that like that's just a unique song that you made up, you know.
But if I played the intro to like the first little of Stairway to Heaven, they could prove that it was Stairway to Heaven in court.
You just did it. That
Allegedly.
So
it's over.
Does this not fall under, for certain things, under fair use because you're transforming the media? If you're playing it like verbatim.
Nope. So fair use is a defense that you can use in court if you're being sued. It is not a law that protects you inherently ahead of time. So if you put fair, this is fair. If I cover a song and upload it to wherever or do it live, and I have on screen or in the description, I'm making no money from this. It's fair use. Blah 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 blah. None of that means anything. It's nothing. If Led Zeppelin sees your cover, they have the legal right to take you to court and sue you for whatever they are suing. I don't know how that works, how they decide how much, but they can sue you into oblivion. See, this is why it's still kind of the Wild West, even on YouTube, because everyone does covers and uploads it. You can find, if I look cover Stairway to Heaven, I could scroll for the rest of my life, right? And people get famous off of it. They make money off of it. So what YouTube's done about that, as far as I understand it, is so Led Zeppelin goes, hey, that person is making money off of Stairway to Heaven. That's our damn song. It's probably not Led Zeppelin. It's probably Sony. What, the company that owns, whoever owns the rights, Warner Brothers, whatever.
It's Led Zeppelin himself.
Mr. Zeppelin.
Yeah, Mr. Zeppelin. But they, they have the legal right to just sue you into oblivion. And if you use 10 seconds of a song, if you use 6 seconds of a song, if they can prove that you're covering their song and getting money. So what YouTube does is they said to Sony and all the big three, the recording industry as a whole, they said, how about this? When people upload a cover of your song to YouTube, you have the right to get all of the ad money from any ad money that they make off of that video. You can have it. and then you let them leave it up. What do you say? And they said, okay, yeah, we can work with it. And they don't always, I think, but for the most part, because that's what demonetization is. If someone makes a claim on a video and says, you used my song in your video and you don't have the rights, I want your ad money. And YouTube facilitates that and they get your ad money. So that's the compromise that has been struck, at least through YouTube. Twitch doesn't have something like that yet, I don't think. But
No,
for
when
you,
you get
yeah.
DMC claimed on Twitch, it just mutes that portion of the audio in the VOD. But that doesn't stop you from being like, say, like live DMCA.
So
They
the
have
funny,
like,
yeah, the funny thing about that is, so Twitch has an audio bot running all the time on your content live. So, and it affects the VOD, but it's like running as the VOD processes it's running. So it's actually like Twitch's own bot. It's like Audio Magic or something. And so the people don't even have to DMCA you. The audio bot mutes your VOD to protect you,
Really
but
for
also
them.
to protect Twitch.
yeah.
It's really to protect Twitch. And that's all that's there right now. But what I keep hearing about is live DMCA takedowns are coming. You keep hearing that.
What would that look like?
Year after year. It would look like this. Okay, hey guys, I'm about to get in a chase. I'm gonna put on blank song that I really fucking love. It's like a very popular song.
Highway to
that
Hell.
Gets
We're
everyone
playing
hyped. Eye of the
yeah, of
Tiger.
course.
Right? Okay, I'm gonna put on Eye of the Tiger. Let's go. I'm getting in a chase. Okay, here we go. Blip. It says this channel's no longer available. That's what a live takedown looks like.
Okay.
So the way the Twitch works with
channel's not available.
Right. Yeah, unless you have a time capsule or whatever it is, a time machine. But yeah, that's how it's going to work when it will work, if it ever works with live, because that's a lot of resource to if there's 100,000 channels live all at once or 250,000 channels, it's like the amount of server power for a company to do that, or even if Twitch had to do it themselves by law or something, like it's not realistic, which is, so here you go. Safe harbor. By the way, I'm not a lawyer. None of this is legal advice. This is all just
honestly, dude,
things
thank you
that
for
I've
giving
picked
us
up
all
over
this
the years.
legal advice. Really appreciate it.
I might be completely wrong, and it's not legal advice. So I'm just a streamer. Don't listen to me. But anyway, safe harbor is a law that protects big companies like YouTube and Twitch.
Well, they're the ones who need protection, right?
Well, otherwise they'd be shut down because there's so much copywritten content on their servers and their live stuff all the time anyway. Safe harbor law says as long as you do reasonable amount of work to remove copyrighted stuff, okay, you're good. So safe harbor law will protect big companies. We are not protected. That's the main thing here about this whole thing. We're not protected on Twitch or YouTube or anywhere. If a band or a record label or rights holders wanted to sue us for something, they can. They don't. They haven't really. There's been no major cases that we're really aware of where that's happened. Like I could spend the rest of my career uploading covers to YouTube and maybe making a following from. I'm not saying I would, but like or I could. I'd be successful, but people do make money from it and they get successful. Even if the company goes, no, I'm taking all your ad revenue. You can still get famous off of a cover of a really good cover of a song, well produced, lots of cameras, just really well made. Great. You're a great musician and it sounds awesome. But like, you're not protected from them suing you. Mostly they're happy with getting all of your ad revenue, especially if you go viral and your video gets 5-10 million views, all that money goes straight into that record company's bank account, right? They're fine. So they're not going to sue you because they're not going to get anything from me or, like it'd be pointless. It'd be a waste of their money and time to sue everybody into oblivion for covering Stairway to Heaven, right? But anyway, it all comes back around to Twitch and what we do, role playing and stuff.
Yeah,
Is it even risky for us to mention a brand's name? Because in the movie industry, they can't even be like, oh, pass me that Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? Like even me mentioning it right now on this podcast, like it's fine because we're having conversation, but in role play, we're presenting a show, right? I don't know. Is there going to be laws one day to say we can't even bring in, because like, hey man, let's go to Burger Shot and get a Coca-Cola, you know? Maybe they don't want to be associated with gang stuff, and like, you know, maybe they'll make a big deal out of it one day.
Yeah, I that's definitely a thing that I've thought about. It's so interesting. I'm so glad you came on, because this is stuff that I like always have like quiet concerns about, but my brain isn't like there's not enough folds in my brain to like consider all of the music stuff. So I think that this is a really valuable thing for people to be able to hear, because there's a lot of people who go like, oh, it'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'm playing music, who cares? Like, well,
and you probably will be, because no one that we know of publicly has been completely DMCA'd for a song and then like their channel was gone forever. Like it's just never happened yet. You know, like a couple of big streamers, there was a little time there where a couple of people got takedowns, DMCA takedowns, and their channels got banned for like a day or something. But it was because of like a GTA siren that.
Oh,
you remember that whole thing?
That was
does that ring a bell when I say GTA
It like scared the shit out of a bunch of people, right?
Yeah, it was like I guess free use or something like that, but it wasn't free use, like siren sound.
So yeah, here's what happens, especially with long running games. Rockstar will pay someone to create that siren sound, or they'll find a sound pack from somewhere and say, this is the siren
like
sound
the
we want
cop
in the game.
sirens, like anybody that's in the server basically couldn't.
Yeah,
it's like nope.
And that's why it affects everybody, because if that siren goes by me in the game, that's going off on my stream. It could be picked up on my stream, and then I'm now responsible for broadcasting that unlicensed siren sound to everyone out there, right? And by law and by Twitch terms of service, I'm responsible. Yeah. So what happens is the companies, they license that siren sound, everything in the game, every sound you hear, birds chirping, walking, everything, every single sound, either they created in-house and they obviously don't need a license externally, but if they hired a company or a Foley artist or whatever, all the sounds are licensed, and they pay them in that license. But some licenses only last for a year. Some of them last for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. But then they expire. And when they expire, what happens is the artist that had that license updates all the audio bot companies and says, my sound is now no longer licensed by anybody. So because a game could just steal a siren sound and use it in their game. So this is to protect. It's always this double-edged thing. It's like, well, that's really stupid. That sucks. But the person that makes a living off of creating siren sounds,
like, don't they deserve?
They
to get
were
paid?
They were paid for a 1, 2, 3 year license by Rockstar, for example, and now that they can now license that to a different company for a different game if they want and make more money off of that. That's their right, and they made the music or the sound. It's the same with music though, right? Shouldn't I have the right as a musician to go, well, I don't want you to use my song in your YouTube video. I don't agree with for whatever reason. I don't agree with the content. I don't agree. I just don't want you to use my song in your video. Shouldn't I have the right to do that? So it's the same with playing copyrighted music on stream. Shouldn't Led Zeppelin have the right to say, well, I don't want Stairway to Heaven playing while you're cooking meth? Shouldn't they have the right to say no? Right? Just like, so it's this whole, the main problem with all of this that we're talking about is that the laws are antiquated. The last time they updated these laws in a major way was DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Millennium.
It was made in 99.
That is a
long time ago.
It was based around like Napster back then too.
It was based around CDs at first. It started because of CDs.
Miss Napster.
Like, does everyone watching this video even know what a CD is anymore?
Right.
Like,
They used to burn them, right? You set those things on fire.
One-time use.
you burn them. That's right. And you just you could hear the song in the fire. It was really, it was primitive. It was back in the old days. I'm old enough to remember that.
That's where you had to put the needle on the CD, right?
That's right. You put
And
the
then it
needle
would-
on the CD and it cut a groove into it, and then it was permanent. Yeah. But that's how old the laws are. They were made around CDs, and then updated marginally for the Napster era, but not really. Like, that was more around torrenting and digital file piracy and stuff like that. But the laws need to be updated, and they need to be updated regularly because technology changes so quick. Like, what about TikTok and are you allowed to just sing a song a cappella without a license? And are they allowed to allow it to be on the platform? Like, all these things need to be discussed and put into law in different countries, depending on, if it's usually the US is where a lot of companies are based, but if they're based somewhere else, then there should be laws wherever they are. It could be, because it's hard to do international law. That's a very tricky thing, and it doesn't usually work out. Right. So that's why contracts and terms of service usually say based on the country where our headquarters is for whatever company. So yeah, it's all very complicated, and we are walking on eggshells.
There's a thing that's happening on TikTok. I don't know if it's still happening, but it was popping off for a minute.
Yeah.
Basically, people were going around and they would copyright or like take digital ownership of the sound of because when you make a TikTok video, it separates the video and the audio, and it creates the audio as its own individual thing so that people can then use that audio in their videos. But what was happening is somebody was taking every audio, basically any audio that got like more than 500,000 likes. They just had a system where they were like, that's mine, I'm claiming this, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. So then you would make an original song and then upload it to TikTok, and then you would go to try to post it on YouTube, and you'd get DMCA'd by somebody saying they're the original owner. And you go, of course you're not, I'm the original owner. And then you have to go through this big legal battle like to deal with this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So when that started becoming big on YouTube with the content ID system with audio, and it still happens, not as frequently I hear, but where it happened to me on some of my videos where this random company you've never heard of would say that you used a song in their song in your video from this time to this time in the video, and there's no music, or like it's obviously not the song they're talking about, or it's just a bold-faced lie. Like, you're just like, no, this is wrong.
Oh, it makes me so mad.
Well, what happened with that, so it's abuse of these systems is all it is, because they're so big, and YouTube is so big, there's so much content on YouTube that they can't, again, governments can't force YouTube to fix it because it's safe harbor law, because there's just too many videos, so there's too many DMCA takedowns. So they just have to let everything through, and then the person who's been being attacked essentially by that has to file the appeal, and then they'll look at the appeals. If you don't file an appeal, which a lot of people may not or don't for whatever reason, then they can just let those slip through the cracks. But it's just too big of a problem to solve. So the companies found a way, like bad people found a way to abuse the system, because what happens is you upload a video and like right away someone's claimed that part of the video is theirs, or you use their song or whatever. They start getting the ad revenue right away. Immediately. When you finally get to appeal it, and they finally get to your appeal, then you start, and they go, oh yeah, you're right, this is all your content. You don't get back the money that they essentially stole. And on YouTube, your highest grossing views are in the first
initial
section. So they've essentially people are stealing people's money. So that's an abuse of the system. And if you file a DMCA takedown, because that's not a DMCA takedown, that's just a content ID
saying
thing.
This is ours, we don't want to take it down, but they owe us the ad revenue.
Right. And YouTube just has the system that complies with it.
because they're too big.
A
Because they
DMCA
can't.
takedown, right? And a DMCA takedown, on the other hand, they legally have to investigate immediately and ensure that it's right, and blah 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 blah. Same with Twitch. It's very rare to get a DMCA takedown on Twitch, but if it happens,
Big
like
deal,
it's a big deal.
This was like can we? This is kind of tangential to role play, but really, what you're talking about, Disguised Toast, is like in my head. Here's what's happening, right? This is just like my conspiracy theory, right? Disguised Toast for a while was like streaming like really popular animes on his Twitch every day, and he still does it. In my head, he is trying to make something happen. He's not doing it for attention. He's not doing it for views. Disguised Toast, I think, is a very, very smart person. And he's trying to enact some kind of change by this repeated behavior. You wouldn't, as a popular, like, multi-millionaire streamer, you wouldn't just arbitrarily make a bad decision, right? Like, I don't think Disguised Toast would. Some people would, right? I don't think Disguised Toast would for no reason.
Some people have
just stream this and risk copyright, right? No. So I wonder what my thought process is like. Oh, well, if he makes it this way, then what he could do is get like Twitch or Amazon to tighten up on copyright things, so that then the creators can defend themselves more in the long run, even though people will be mad about not being able to stream anime or whatever.
Yeah, there's a strategy behind that. So there's two things that could be happening. I'm not talking about them specifically, but it's well known that, especially if you have a large number of viewers or audience or whatever, the controversy does actually increase your income, and it increases your viewers and followers and subs and tips and bits and everything else. It's proven. So that's why you keep seeing controversy from some of the top streamers, because it's even more controversial because they're huge. But it is a actual content creation strategy that they use. They do risk things
because it almost always pays off, right?
But there's a return on that investment and that risk, and not everyone does it, but some people do. But there are definitely people that will do something to make an example, and to be honest, that's the only way things are going to change, because, like I said, it's like this Wild West mentality or ecosystem that we're in, where it won't change unless somebody big gets caught doing it or there's press about it. You know, I knew people that streamed on Twitch that no longer stream on Twitch because, you know, I knew someone that, because this is the way the rules were before, a long time ago, he got banned on Twitch for dancing, and not in any certain way. You were when I first started streaming on Twitch, you had to be playing video games.
Right, when it was JTV and early, yeah.
Right.
Justin, yeah.
Because they split Twitch off of Justin, and they wanted to make them two separate things. And if you were going to be not playing games, they wanted you back on Justin at the time. So, I mean, things change, but they only change because people brute force their way through the change, right? Like, I wanted to play music on Twitch, but I wasn't really allowed to. So I played music in video games on Twitch.
It's so smart.
I was playing video games, but I was playing music, right? So there's ways to make change happen or to get around, you know, gray areas, but they may be doing it as sort of like a way to make change. They could be doing it that way on purpose because they don't fear necessarily. If they are, maybe because they have enough reserves of money, they're not worried about losing their channel for a while or permanently even. Maybe it's worth it to them to make that change and be an example.
Well, listen, I know Disguised Toast is a big fan of the show, so Toast, just comment in the YouTube. Let us know what your strategy is. DM me if you want. DMs are open. I'll friend you so you can DM me. Don't worry about it.
Absolutely.
So let's circle back to roleplay a little bit. I'm assuming, because we usually like to ask like how many applications did it take for you to get into Nopixel? I'm assuming the answer is 0 for you.
Yeah, for Nopixel specifically, yes, because I met Coil in A3L, and then he was making his own server, and he invited me to the server, and I went and played in the server.
We've been beaten. He got us. He fucking got us.
We got beat.
Troms and I are
somebody finally
we're one application Andes.
One application Andes.
And 52 is, you know, he's great too.
Both servers I got in as well.
Okay.
52 is great too. He's
Yeah.
here.
What can I say?
Yeah.
I exist. So we have 0 and we have 6. two numbers that never
Yeah.
should have happened.
Oh yeah, that's
It was
true. Yeah.
Nexera, right? That
Oh,
was
wow.
6. It was
Well, I think he did the 5, and then he was on public, and somebody's just like, "Yeah, okay, you're in now." So I think we
Yeah.
counted it as 6.
Yeah, I've always said I think like before Nopixel made the change with the whole application process.
Mhm.
We mentioned several times that the method they use it's like it's efficient, but it's not effective. And now they've changed it.
yeah, for
and
people
it's
applying now, it's video based.
so-
Like send clips, send us part of your role playing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're changing it. So I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. I think that's way better. Because I didn't have as much experience role playing in GTA as I did writing, like creative writing and like fiction writing
Right.
and playing D&D, right? I had 20 years of
Yeah.
D&D whenever I signed up for Nopixel. So it was very easy for me to combine those two things and make like a fun, engaging short story for someone to read. And I made it so that my whole thing when I made my application was like, I want someone with a 5th grade reading level to be able to read this comfortably. And I want somebody with a
Absolutely,
college
yeah.
reading level to be like, that's a good story. Right?
Yep. Any application I've ever written is I tried it like I write it story based, not like I really go.
Yeah, why don't
for
you
it
show us
if I'm trying to get on a
like an
server.
example application you do for Nopixel? Just pull one up real quick, do it.
I think it was a verbal
Oh, yeah.
conversation. I don't think I recorded it at the time. Yeah. All right. No, but I've played. But this is the thing. I've played on. Because I've been role playing for 10 years on Twitch. I mean, I had to apply for Daisy RP. I had to apply for Reign of Kings back in the Reign of Kings era. Arc role play. There was a couple
I played
servers
on
I
an
was
Arc roleplay
on.
server once, and I spent
Yeah.
12 hours building up a farm. I made like a little dino catching area with like a ramp and then like a door so I can catch big things. And I put big signs everywhere that says, "Hey, free food, free anything. You know, I'm just here to grow some animals and have a good time and make friends." And I came back the next day and it was all demolished. And there was a sign that just said like, "Get wrecked, idiot."
Absolutely. Super grief. Yeah, griefing in Arc is
Never
really
playing that
rough.
game again.
That's really rough. Usually they're very heavy on not griefing on those servers, and they actually will protect people's builds if they're like going to be a permanent structure, just so that
I don't
doesn't even
play
happen
on, I don't play
accidentally.
because of stuff like that. I don't play games
Yeah.
where you can get raided when you're not there anymore.
That's fair.
If I'm not on the server, you
that's
can't
fair
raid me.
enough.
That's the only
it's
way.
super frustrating. But yeah, there's Arc. There was Atlas.
Atlas, yeah.
I played. There was what else? I did Gary's mod on that one server.
You ever hear of a little game called
Yeah,
Worlds Adrift?
What? I've never heard of that game.
Worlds Adrift.
I'm
Yes.
stupid. Wait,
Yes,
what?
I
Where you're
have.
Spider-Manning around
Well,
in
then
like,
you're amongst
like
a
open
celebrity.
floaty space.
Because Kiwo played it, and I watched her play it. I think. Am I thinking of the right thing, or is this?
No, I think so. It's a world. Listen, Worlds Adrift.
Worlds
was
Adrift.
an incredible game, ahead of its time.
I think I.
Oh, everybody
played it.
played this game.
I think I
Everybody
have.
played it. And listen, I don't want to.
Adrift.
I want to wait until you recognize
It
the
was a
game before.
god.
Worlds Adrift Alpha, right on my Steam, baby. 2.4 hours.
2.4
Hey, listen,
hours.
Yep.
You might have run into
I don't
this
want
celebrity.
to. I don't want to scare you. Make sure you're sitting down.
Mhm.
But you are currently
Yep.
in the Discord call that you are in right now, sitting with the world's #1 Worlds Adrift YouTuber.
Holy
it
crap!
away,
Really?
52 chains. It's him.
Chains.
Take what away? The game
No, it's-
died.
It wasn't
Actually-
it's Troms. It's Troms.
You know what's funny? Okay, so
You were the
well-
#1 YouTuber.
okay, self-proclaimed.
#1.
Okay.
Let's be real. I gained a huge amount of my following from that game. Back
He was
then,
number
but
one.
It was
He's being-
because
he's
they did
being
the
humble.
Nintendo thing, and they had I can't remember the term for it, where they were doing like a closed beta, and you could buy the game on Steam, but for whatever reason, they limited it to like 1,000 copies that you could buy. So once they
So you
sold
bought
out,
999,
yeah.
and you were the top creator
was
because
the
you were the
top.
only person with the copies.
once they sold out, you couldn't get it anymore.
Oh my
So
God.
people were just looking for content based around it. Like lots of people ended up watching me. But anyway, the game ended up dying, which I still have a gift copy of the game.
Wow.
Even though you can't play the game
That's
anymore,
so
the server
funny.
shut down.
I can't load up my alpha here?
No, well, actually, you can because there's still the
playtest, yeah.
the island creator. I think you can go to.
Really? I could load
you
this
can-
up right now?
You could like zip
how sick
around
would
and
it be?
stuff. I don't think you can make a ship.
February 7th, 2017. That's when I did the
Yeah.
2.4 hours.
That's where I got a lot of my community from. Prior to Nopixel, prior to the Sea of Thieves roleplay that I did, they eventually
nice.
created Captain Moosebeard.
Yeah.
Prior to Rivalry roleplay, which was
Rivalry
my first,
roleplay.
that was my first whitelisted server where I
Mhm.
met like No Illusions, Bobby Schmigel,
Yep.
Affairs, one of who was originally
With
in
a
the
Z?
Lost.
With a Z?
Yeah, with I think 2 Zs or something.
Yeah.
Patty
familiar.
Scratch Patrickson, he played
Yeah.
Patty on Rivalry as well. Him and
Mhm.
Moosebeard were buddies. They're still buddies on Nopixel. We had an agreement that we just remembered each other from back then.
I love that. See,
That's good RP right there.
I like that. I like taking that freedom. Yeah. And just connecting.
He did it
people
in
together.
character too, because I was like, I wasn't sure how to do it. So I was like, who are you? And he's like, you don't remember me from like back then. We robbed a Polito together.
And don't you remember?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I do. We have
Yes,
shared
yes.
lore. Yes.
It's because he said that Moosebeard now tells people that he's robbed a Polito bank. before.
Oh, that's
It was on a
amazing.
completely
That's-
different server.
Beautiful.
the Polito.
Yeah, no, I like that stuff, man. I like that. I like when people take those liberties and everyone agrees. You know, it's not going to hurt anyone else's role play by doing
Right.
that. So why not have fun with it? That's great.
Yeah, it's good every time I see him. We just kind of like, we're just like, never had to arrest him either, which is good because we go like way back.
Way back. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's awesome as hell. I love that.
All right, Mike.
That's so good.
I got some fun ones
Mhm.
for you. Since you're so veteran, I'd love to get your
Mhm.
opinion on such
So
an old
He's
man.
just
I am.
old
Look, we
guy.
talked about this when we played. I'm 42.
You're a youthful 40. You don't
You,
look,
you should
you don't
stop
look
saying
42.
that on the internet.
I don't care. I don't give a
Just kidding,
shit.
I'm just kidding.
Dude,
Yeah.
there are some
I don't
people in
care.
the
You
world,
can
and
have
if you're
them.
one of these people, I'm sorry, but it's true. Listen,
I'm
there are some people that are like
104
26 that look like they're in their 40s. And there's some people that are in their 30s that look like they're in their 60s. It's like, holy crap! Like
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Are you taking jabs at me right now?
Yeah, like Chains is
26.
actually
Yeah.
16.
Yeah,
We've had to like
16.
keep a lot of people off.
But
off
it's
the
legal
podcast
'cause he's from the
because
UK,
They're
so
like,
it's-
oh, it's 18 plus, right?
18 plus. Am I
I
allowed to
can't
say
believe-
shit?
I can't believe you've exposed me to profanity.
Just
Ah, shit.
just so everyone knows, 52 Chains is actually 43 years old. Please do not ban him.
I am.
Damn,
I wouldn't.
man.
You know what?
Damn.
I
If
wouldn't.
52
I'd
Chains
believe
said
it.
he was
I'd
43
honestly believe
and
it.
has 6 kids and 2 ex-wives, I absolutely believe him.
That's an insult.
I have 2 ex-wives.
How is that an insult, dude?
I'm 42 and have 2 ex-wives. Hello? I'm not joking.
Well, you're a
not-
musician.
You were
didn't
the
have to
next
say
20
anything.
years. Chains
Yeah.
are going to be so good to you. You're going to look exactly the same for the next like 20, 30 years. And
He
no
He
one's
doesn't
gonna
even
be
have
able to
lines
tell.
on his
This
face. Look at him.
camera's-
There's no lines on this man's face.
There are. This camera's awful and it's. I've got lines,
okay.
man.
All right, Kendall.
Like
Okay.
Joel in The Last of Us. The only
That's-
signal that he's getting older is gray hair. That's
Yeah,
it.
I got gray in my.
Everything else-
You can see.
This man
look.
dyes his
Oh,
beard
yeah, that's
gray.
right, dude. I just added a profile picture to Twitter for the first time instead of my
Yeah.
logo, and I was like, you know, I was bumping it a little bit on Photoshop, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn, that beard is so great. That is so
Mine are-
Sneaks
great.
in,
It's
I'll
hard to
tell
see
you,
because
it
it's like
sneaks
bright
in.
silver and it like blends in with the red for some reason. But I got some like wizard
Oh,
hairs
yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, they come in. They
Must,
come in.
must be
occasionally.
nice. Must be
Yeah.
nice. You guys are not being considerate right
Well,
now.
I'm telling you,
Sorry.
I'm telling you, man.
You serious?
Just go buy some minoxidil and put on your stupid face, okay, every day. All right, you'll grow a real beard. All right, you'll be a real boy, okay?
Mhm.
Minoxidil it up.
Do it.
But we jumped over something I wanted to talk about. We were talking
Was it
about,
you? Because you're so short and it's so
Nopixel
easy to
app
jump over you. Small ass.
I'm-
Small ass bitch.
Damn.
2. I'm 6'2", and I'm gonna prove it when I go. Where's TwitchCon
At
happening?
Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm just gonna show up at the venue 2 minutes just to prove that.
Oh,
I'm
did you guys see
6'2"
that?
and then
Did you guys see
I'm go
50
back
Shades?
home.
50 Shades was like, I think that was a cardboard cutout. That's what you should do. You should get a 6'2", your height, cardboard cutout, print it out, and I'll just carry it around with me.
That would be nice. That would be nice. But back to the application thing. The prio genocide or massacre, where a lot of people lost their prio.
Yeah.
I get why it was done, but I feel like the way it was done it could have been done better. You know, rather than it did not discriminate if you're a good role player or a bad role player. It did unless someone on the admin team knew of you. Or you were pushing 1,000 plus, even if you were pushing 1,000 plus viewers, a lot of people lost their prio. And one thing that I'd like to say that they could have done better is if they had the council or whatever they call it, the people that decided who got to keep their prio, and who loses it. They just had a few role players from different circles.
Yeah.
And give them one stipulation where they can't vote for someone that's in their circle, and they tried to keep it bipartisan. Like, at least then, you know, people that are considered decent role players wouldn't have lost their prio. But like, every day I look at Twitter, I see a name of someone who's lost their prio. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? That's got to be a mistake.
It goes
crazy.
back to what we were talking about with prio before, where there's no fair way to do it. There is no fair way to do it, because who decides really what is good role play? First of all, that's the foundational issue with that, is that good role play is subjective 100%, because you could love tuning in and watching somebody work at Burger Shot all day. Honestly, and there was a huge when Hubcap worked at Burger Shot, there was a massive community of people that just loved the drama around Burger Shot. It was like
watching
Jelly
Seinfeld.
It was a sitcom, and it was so zany and just friggin', you know, cars blowing up.
I wish would have gotten into that role play. Das Medi.
Yeah.
I think he'd be so good at it.
Oh, yeah.
He's so funny, and his brain works really well.
The laugh track?
Yeah, the laugh track, the everything.
And it does take a special kind of role player to role play there, because you have to be open to getting shot a lot and just not caring, you know what I mean? Like, not being like, well, I'm going to go find that person now. It's just, they came in, they shot the blaze up. Next, and then you're going to sing them a little silly song. It just
did that happen often?
Yeah. Well, Burger Shot was a war with CG. Well, no, it wasn't CG. It was Rooster's Rest. And we were at war. Like, Lang would come in every day and throw a grenade, shoot us. He permit one of the employees one day, because he just came in and they're like, well, I have to charge you separately for each murder meal. And he's like, he was furious about it, and he shot them, and they permitted, and it was like this whole thing. But there was like a daily robberies, and it still happens. Someone will come in and rob it about once a day still, I think. That's why they installed the 10 Shelly alarm, which is an alarm on the warming bin behind the counter. You just peek at it, and you can turn on the alarm, and the cops see the.
We went into the Burger Shot to I was on my block character, Sunblock. He's deaf. And
it's good.
He's also albino.
Which is funny. It's ironic.
Yeah.
It is very it's very creative. It's very good.
Canonically, Mike Block's son confirmed. Yeah, Mike Block acknowledged him as son. That's my son right there.
Nice, fourth floor, nice.
And we went in to get a burger, and the guy was being like a real prick, which is fine. It's funny. But then we were like, give us the goddamn burger, or we're going to fucking do something. We're going to have to get wild in here. And he hit a 10 Shelly, and it locked us in. And then we couldn't leave. Yeah, he ran around and locked us in or something. And then we couldn't get out.
He must have done that. Yeah.
I was so mad. I was just like, I wanted to be like, dog, I don't have any counterplay. What am I supposed to do? Like, the cops are here. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even come around the counter. Can you unlock the door? And I was like, I even tried, like, I was like, I'm picking the lock. I'm picking the lock. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, okay. Okay, dude. I was so...
It gets, that's an interesting thing too, right? Because, I mean, the Burger Shot employees have no recourse because, like, if Chain Gang comes in and there's 5 of them with guns or 6 of them, and there's 2 people behind the counter and they maybe don't even have any weapons, it's like, what some people quit Nopixel over that when it was really bad. People were so frustrated by that role play because
like a shooting target prop.
Yeah, that's there was literally, it was bad. Like, there was someone come in and go, fuck you, Burger Shot, throw a Molotov, and then you're just burnt up, and it's like, what's the role play for them? Like, there's none.
Yeah.
So
maybe they like course correct too hard the other way, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the 10 Shelly was the only thing they could give us to get the cops there quick enough, because you'd 911 or whatever, and they'd be like, yeah, we're in a chase. It's like, no, you don't understand. This is like kind of terrorism almost. Like, this is it's every day, like 5 times a day, and that is still hostage central for banks, is Burger Shots, where everyone goes first. You know, so I mean, them locking you in is kind of like,
you know what though?
Yeah,
we turned it. That's the thing about Nopixel though. We turned it into very fun, good role play. I ended up like getting arrested by Matt Rhodes.
Yeah,
and
that's what you do.
Somebody sent me a clip of him saying like, "This is my favorite block that has ever lived. Like, this guy's funny." And I was like, "Oh, dude, let's go."
Because no matter what happens, that's what you're supposed to do on Nopixel. And in the Nopixel community, is that caliber of role play that they want us to be, and they hope that we are, doesn't matter. Even if the person in front of you is breaking some sort of rule, you just go with it. You know what I mean? And if you need to get out of that situation because it's really bad, or you do, but you still keep it in character and you still keep it in role play, and try to do the best you can, and make it entertaining, and then peace out, because they're just constantly running over everybody, or something. You just report it later if you have to.
But I love Shelly. What's her streamer name? I can't remember.
Really,
RLLY.
Dude, she's like her and Guttural Steve are the absolute fucking hearts and soul of that place.
That's why I stuck around there for 2 years, was because of role players like them. I mean, I was Hubcap was a different character before Burger Shot. Like, all our characters evolve, and Hubcap definitely evolved by being at Burger Shot with those silly ass characters. All I wanted to do was that silly ass shit for a long time. I mean, again, my character evolved again. Now he's a biker. I still like doing silly stuff though. I still like the silliness, but every day was just nonstop SBS. It was just an SBS hub. Right. And like you say, Shelly and Tomothy's Guttural Steve, as you know, and they enable other people to be silly too, which is the big thing. It's not just that they're being silly constantly. It's that they're like, hey, we're doing this right now. Do it with us.
Moosebeards of Burger Shot, right? Moosebeard,
exactly.
Like a bunch of people have said over and over on this podcast that Moosebeard is like what allowed other cops to kind of like slowly start leaning into being goofy. 100%.
Like, I know when I run into Moosebeard, it's not a taser to my face. Even though Hubcap is more of a criminal these days, I know that Moosebeard I can talk to and have.
You can set up a scenario. You can make something happen, and it's like it's not even a question. It's not even a question. You know it's going to happen.
It doesn't matter what I'm doing. What was it the other day? I was in a helicopter and I was coming into land
right above the SDSO.
Yeah.
Sir, you can't be here.
Yeah, you didn't pull out a gun and go boo, 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 boo.
Try that shit with me.
You talked to me. We role played about it, and I'm like,
in fact, I tried to tase your passenger out too. It's like, maybe come a little lower.
Yeah, and then we were we role played it out. We had it, and it's not that it always has to be silly, but it's just And again, I don't hold it against people that are role playing in a certain way where they are a hard ass cop. that is their character. It's not because that's all they're willing to do. It's because they are literally playing a hard ass cop that is by the book on purpose, right? That's something I look out for, and I try to enable that for them too, where it's like, oh, they don't want to talk, and like, let's go on a chase thing, because I know you are like ready for that. They want that chase.
Yeah.
Because when they catch you, then then you get the role play. Then you get to have a conversation in the cells, and they're very nice, and you know, so if they like to role play that way, I will facilitate that as well. You know what I mean?
For me, it's always been a matter of reading what you're up against, right? And there's a lot of give and take with role play, specifically with how you like convey yourself and your character.
Yeah.
For instance, if I respond to a robbery and they're in a clothing store, right, and they've put up signs that say like cash register smashed, right? You know, I'm immediately, you know, I catch on. I'm like, okay, this is a role play crime. Like, you know, of course they want to get caught because they're doing the crime and they're making it, you know, they're actually doing it. But at the same time, these guys aren't going wild. They're not, you know, ready to kill somebody, or they have a hostage and they're going to put a gun to his head and literally, you know, if something goes wrong, they'll just kill this guy, right? Like I feel like it's said so much on Nopixel that it's like, I don't like saying it, but it's all about reading the room. It's about figuring out what you're up against and matching what level of force that they want you to use, which is something they teach us as cops too. They teach us literally to match force and go +1, right? Like if someone's punching you, you can hit them with a baton, or you can punch back. You should hit them with a baton. You know, if they're hitting you with a baseball bat, maybe you should shoot them with a gun, right? Like you want to +1 to that. That's
Canadian law too. It's logical. It makes sense in role play for that to be a thing.
And so even just taking that into like how you respond to role play, right, I think is good. You know, where you guys are just flying above SDSO in a helicopter. You're not really hurting anybody. But at the same time, you know, I got to +1 that. I got to take it a little bit further and be like, well, you know, if I can get you, I should probably try to arrest you for trespassing. Right. But I'm not going to
let us do it.
I'm not going to be like 78. I got a guy. He's flying above, and then start shooting the tail rotor out.
Which happens. Which does happen.
Yeah, it does happen.
I mean, and sometimes it's warranted, but I get what you're saying. Like, Hubcap stole Air one day.
I saw that.
That's so funny.
Yeah, the response was appropriate.
Do you need to hack it? I thought you could use a regular lockpick.
No, it was the first time I ever used a hacking. That's what I wanted. I'd never used a hacking tool.
Okay.
And I wanted to see how it worked. So Air One was sitting outside the prison, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to try it on this. And I did, and I got it, and I flew in. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Air One. So yeah.
There's a landing pad in the prison.
Nova was the one that came out of the prison and had landed it there. Nova. So I was like,
she's going to murder me.
Anyway, she I don't remember who got on ATC. I think it was her. They were mad. They were very mad. And I'm like, okay. I can understand why they're mad. So I thought, because I just love role playing. I was going to bring it back to MRPD and land it on the roof and leave it there and leave. I was coming down. Nova was on the roof. Like she was like, yeah. She was very pissed. So like, that was understandable because like they was in the middle of a prison riot.
As a Nopixel lawyer, you should have taken her to court.
I got away.
Great. Did you take the helicopter? You're like, fuck this. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh no. I went, whoa shit. And I went to the Mega Mall, landed on Mega Mall, jumped off of Mega Mall. She was in Air 2, like coming out. I ran and hid in a bush, and then they never found me. So
we were just talking about use of force. And I started chuckling because I was remembering back to when I was before I was a solo cadet riding with Moosebeard, and he goes, all right, Hydra. You start punching and kicking someone. What kind of force is that? And I was like, my brain was so cooked. I go, bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, well, because I asked him what level of force is a baseball bat.
The slashing
bludgeoning.
And he's like, no, what level of force?
+1 to bludgeoning.
And I was like, well, it ain't piercing and it ain't slashing, so what else could it be?
That's amazing.
That's good. That was really good.
Nice. Good one.
We had good times.
You're
man.
just so incredulous.
No.
Like, are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
That was like a
Yeah.
year ago, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
a while ago.
Nice.
good fucking
so
times,
good.
dude. I really want to come back to the
But there's
PD. I
some
really
great-
I'm excited to start pushing to get back to the PD. I don't even want to necessarily like stream Nopixel full time anymore. I just want to
Mhm.
come home and like do like some content for some other stuff and then get on Nopixel for fun. The idea of getting on Nopixel
Yeah.
for fun is like so exciting to me. Like, yeah, I'll still stream it.
Yeah.
I'll still, you know, because I want to be a part of the community and I love it. But I just want to like,
Yeah.
I just want to look forward for the fun. I don't want to like do it because I have to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it because I need to. I want to do it because I want to. And that sounds so good to me.
It's such a. It is tough. Like I'm on there 6 days a week. You know, from 5 to. There was a while there when Hubcap was trying to get into the BBMC as a hang around. I was doing 65 hours a week.
Yeah.
On Nopixel, and that's not fun. That's not fun because I was skill building. I was learning how to drive in GTA.
Exhausting.
Like that's
I
mostly
chased
what I
you
was doing.
How do you do?
I
Out of
chased
10.
you recently, and he did. Well, let's put it this way, okay? He knows where to tuck and turn.
Oh, he's a little rat, huh? You're a little
He took
alley
us
rat.
down to he took us down to El Burro.
Yeah.
train
I still
tracks.
say one of the best
Yeah.
getaway vehicles is a moped.
You can do some cool stuff with that, yeah, because you can squeeze
You
through
can wheel,
a
you can
couple of
wheelie
little
off
spaces.
of like big ramps and big overpasses and
Yep. Yep.
They go
Yeah.
upstairs really well.
Yep. Yep. There's some surprising vehicles that.
Okay,
that
here's
really let
here's
you
an
do
item
it.
I
But
want in
yeah,
Nopixel. Okay,
yeah.
it takes 2 people.
Mhm.
All right, the item's already there. It's just the rope. You know, the one that you use for it's so 2 people can hold it and like kind of use like spike strips, except for people on bikes and motorcycles, where they go to try and find it fully.
Clothesline them. That would be
That's
abused.
murder, right?
That'd be abused instantly. It would just be people standing in front of MRPD waiting for bike cop to come
so
out.
funny,
Sure.
dude.
That would be a funny mechanic, though. If you could trip people when they were just walking too, that'd be funny.
Man. Like it should like the ice.
Oh, imagine you could stick your
Oh,
foot out
dude.
and trip people
That'd be so good.
instead of the tackling, because
pretty
tackling is like
aggressive.
so. It's over the top, right? Imagine you could just kind of just stick
Have you
your
ever,
foot
you ever
out,
given someone
like,
a
with
flat
little
tire while you're walking
animation?
behind them, where you like kick under their foot and lift up?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. Just boop, and
That's
they trip,
so
they
good.
fall, they trip, fall down. But there's the stuff they've done though, you know, the stuff we do have available.
Is there a
to us
mechanic that
now.
you would like to see in the server? Is there something that would make Mike the Bard very, very happy?
My wish was for playable guitars. That
Just
was
like
it.
in Rust, right? Because you can play the
And
guitar in
they-
Rust.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I don't mean like playable as in like play your keyboard and it plays guitar sounds. That would be frigging cool if you could make music with instruments like Rust in the game. Because man, when I did Rust RP stuff,
Were you a master of the
I
guitar?
would just
Could you?
we and the pianos and the drums and stuff. I had that's all I wanted to do.
Dude,
play
I
instruments
wish I loved
in-game.
anything as much as you love
I would
music.
just sit there. I would just sit there and play the piano for people. Like, but it was like my keyboard with letters on it, you know, and I just figured out how to do it and I'd make up little songs and stuff. It was just magical. But like my wish was to have the guitar, like the Hubcap guitar, where he pulls it out, and other people now have them. They actually gave Hubcap the business of being able to make those guitars that you can pull out that make no sound.
You know
Right.
the GTA guitar sound? Is it just that, or is it something else?
No, there's no sound
Oh,
accompanying
but
it.
now you can play
It's-
your
it's for
guitar
people
on
like
the
me
mic.
that
Got it.
Right, and have a
That's
guitar animation, but they're
awesome.
like custom ones. Has hubcap on the headstock and
You need to make somebody a
like
keytar.
that kind of thing.
Or somebody that looks at the keyboard.
Well, I was saying, like, we started down the path, and I'm like, can we get banjos? Could we get basses? Could we get like full instruments? And it's just too much. And like, they're sort of off of it now. Like they did that for me, and
I feel like some devs get
it's
really
done.
excited for projects, and then once they're done, they're over it.
Yeah, because otherwise they have other stuff to do. Like the one dev that was helping me out.
Who
with
was it?
that.
What
And
dev
they
was it?
gave it to me for my
Clear? Oh, Z.
Z.
Yeah.
ZEE. He like, so it was for my 6-year Nopixel
awesome.
anniversary. They put a crate, this big crate outside of my apartment in Vespucci, my house in Vespucci. And I came out and there's just this crate there. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And there was a note that it was from Hubcap's wife, Karen, who is a character I play. And it was like, so there's all this lore, and they had like found all the lore about Karen and like made it appropriate to the lore and everything. She'd sent it over from England, and you left some of your guitars here. Like, I just wanted to send you some guitars. Like, I had no idea this was happening. And I opened the crate, and there's that custom hubcap guitar and just a bunch of guitars that you might see them hanging on walls, but like you use it, and then your character is like, there's an animation. Awesome. And your character's
can
like
you
playing it, right?
Can you put it in your protected pocket or
or
whatever? Oh, you should be able to.
No one's had an issue with that. No one's ever stolen.
Dude,
guitar.
I feel like you should. I feel like there should be a system where you can only take so much out of somebody's inventory.
Well, pocket wiping without reason was kind of. I don't know if anyone got banned for it, but I think people got talked to about it at one point.
It's so obnoxious.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, because it's. I don't think it's. I don't know if it's a written rule or not. But
like, the role play is that I'm really mad at you, so I'm taking all of your things.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you're allowed, right? But it's shitty.
It's bad.
It's a shitty thing to do out of character. But I mean, if there might be situations where it makes sense. You know what I mean? You can role play it out. But
I feel like it's in the same vein as you pissed me off. So now I'm going to punish you, and I'm going to ocean dump you.
I'm about to teach you a lesson you'll never remember.
You'll never. Exactly. That's why it's dumb, right? Because it's like, well, you won't remember
really,
what you did.
What happens is people ocean dump people, and they go, I want to teach this guy a lesson, but I also don't want to get in trouble for it. And that's where the issue is.
There's no repercussions, but there's also no role play about them remembering what happened.
I almost wish you know, like bullet holes and stuff. You know, Troms was talking about the DNA stuff. I wish like we could like look at people's bodies. Like that'd be so cool if the doctors, if we had like a medical examiner who could go like, oh, actually, I can see on your person, like until like the tsunami, I can see that you've been shot by this caliber of bullet, and oh, one is lodged in your fucking lung.
In 2.0, I think that was a thing. The medic system, I don't know what it looks like to be a medic right now. Like, what did they see an interface
I think they're
at all?
required to drink
I don't know.
on the job. I think that's part of it. Like out of character,
Okay.
I think they have to legally.
Okay,
I think just to.
I don't know about that.
Based off of Riv and Snow.
Yeah, well, Riv, so. yeah, based on Riv
and Surrey.
But yeah, Surrey. I love Surrey, but I remember a system. I don't know if it was Nopixel or not, but the medics like had this like UI that popped up that showed the body, and it showed like quadrants of your body and like how injured it was.
It was like left finger injured. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
that was a thing.
And make you limp and black out and shit.
Well,
I hate
hardcore is supposed to have that.
Yeah, Troms.
No,
they put it on class.
That's great
as well.
You fall off a building and you go, oh, my big toe.
I'm curious to see. To go back to that, I'm curious to see like what systems they have in mind and how long
they only
last.
Make it like a 32 or 64 slot for classic. I think that would be super cool.
It was 200 or whatever.
I just think it would be so good
when
they
were doing the test.
I don't know.
Let me tell you what my thoughts on that are, coming from the history of when it was smaller. And some servers over the years have tried to address this as well, because like I said, when it was 12 people, 18 people, 26, then 32, then 38, even 38 people, like you did not find people unless it was coordinated, unless you called them or whatever, unless you could like arrange it somehow. Everyone was going to meet up somewhere. It was awful because you would literally drive around for 3 hours and never run into somebody. Sometimes you maybe on the road, but you wouldn't know if it's an NPC or not sometimes too, right? Or like a local. So it was like Are you real?
That's the mechanic
Fuck.
I want. I want the mechanic where locals are almost indistinguishable from players by their like movements and stuff.
I can tell you that there was a time. Does anyone here remember when if you like kicked a local's car? No, you hit them with your car. They would chase you.
Sometimes
in
they'd
their
shoot
car.
at
Do you remember
while they
that?
were driving? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, locals in some places still
Like
shoot
while they
you,
were
but
driving,
like,
that shit was wild.
they would chase you in their car, and they would like chase you fast. So that was a thing. I think they've tried a lot of mechanics over the years, right, and just see what works, right? And I guess some of them are just for different reasons. They find out that it's not good for role play, right, and then they just scrap it, even if it was a cool.
I'm just mostly thinking as a cop. I would love to be chasing a car that's like driving, and I turn my lights on, and then they kick on the gas. They start making wild turns, and it turns out to be a local. Oh, it'd be so funny, dude. Yeah,
embarrassing but funny. I don't know if this is a popular opinion. I'm assuming it's not, but I don't like mechanics that enforce roleplay. Like, I don't like personally, I don't like the food mechanic where you have to eat. I get why it's there. It's to help with immersion, or the injury mechanics, that type. I don't like it because sometimes, you're role playing and you're zoned in, and then this mechanic gets in the fucking way, and it happens to me all the time, especially with food. I go. I don't. All right, if there wasn't a food mechanic, I probably wouldn't go to restaurants as often as I do.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's got its downfalls and its positives. Like, a few mechanics are good, but
I think it's a balance thing, right? So
yeah,
when you started, because I used to die all the time from starvation, constantly, until I started being hang around for the BBMC, and like they're like a military. Like, you have to be prepared for everything. You have food on you, have lockpicks, like everything's very regimented. So like I got in the habit of making sure I have full food, full water. Like I have chest armor already on. I have 2 chest armor. Like, I'm still trained that way. Like, Hubcap still goes. He's trained the Lost to do that now. So watch out. But like, it's the base discussion of this is how much immersion is not good for the gaming aspect of it. Because if you like, what do you like? How immersive do you go before it's not fun anymore? Even if it's for role play, because I'm going to exaggerate here. You have to like push a button to sit up in bed. You have to like swing your legs off the bed. You have to put on your shoes one at a time. You have to tie your shoe. Like, how immersive is too immersive to the point where it's no longer enjoyable to play or to watch? You got to balance that out, right? So I think the food, so the food thing's one thing, but then there was rings, relics. I freaked the fuck out when that shit started. And no offense to anyone that was the mechanic they were looking forward to, or they helped to implement that. No offense to you.
I ended up using like the health ring and the armor ring, just because like as a cop you're driving around all the time and you bump stuff and you end up like trying to get into like a role play situation and you're like almost dead. So I was like, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, right? Yeah, and Hubcap has 4 relics that he paid like $100,000 for now, because as a criminal, it came to the point where I really didn't have a choice if I was going to be up against other gangs or even the cops. They had rings. It was just this. But when it first came out and I was working at Burger Shot, we hated it because it was like people stopped coming to the fucking restaurants because they didn't have to eat because of the ring. I was so mad as a role player. I was mad. I was literally, I never stopped molding in character about it either. I was just like, well, I haven't seen you in a while. You got one of those fucking rings? Like I was.
Can you still get the ones the make the food ones?
I don't.
The jade
citrine ring.
Jade,
Is it jade? I don't know.
You can,
I never went
it's
for the
wrong,
ring.
so it's hard to get him to like make them. He's like the only person that can distribute them or something, is my understanding.
Yeah, but it's a discussion that as Nopixel role players, I think it's healthy to talk about that and give that feedback to the devs.
I've never liked hunger and thirst mechanics in games. They exhaust me.
Stress.
I'm like, why do I have to think about this?
I don't like the stress one.
I don't understand the stress one either. I don't understand really the value. Like, what do we get?
I have a relic
out of
for
it?
stress because I hate it. It's like you drive fast for a minute and now your screen is just constantly. I'm like, could you fucking stop? I don't even want to go smoke a joint. Like,
you know why they implemented the stress mechanic? It's an old mechanic from 2.0. I'm pretty sure.
It was around a long time. This flashing screen,
and it was added to stop people from shooting constantly.
Okay.
Well, guess what? People shoot constantly now.
They just they got used to the stress. Like, I've definitely gone for a long period of time with my Twitch chat that goes, can you fucking stop this? I just was ignoring it because I'm role playing. It's not because I'm shooting or I'm driving fast. I'm talking to people. And I think that's what you're getting at is like, you're in the middle of a dramatic thing or just a good conversation or some good role play, even if it is shooting or whatever. But like your screen is just doing this, or you're starving to death, but you don't have time to go and get food. You got to start begging people for food around you, and then it's immersion breaking, even though it's supposed to increase the immersion.
For a while, I played John Hydra, where he got shot in the stomach by a Russian fighter jet, and it blew his stomach out. So I literally, my rule was I could eat once a day, and that was I died. So
dude, you drove me so crazy with that. He stuck to it.
Everyone was like, "Please eat," and I was like, "I can't,"
because you kept 13 bravoing every time you'd go down, and it was like he 13 bravo 10 times in his shit.
I was like, I'm trying to use this morphine from these IFACs, but it's just not working.
You were role playing the mechanic in reverse almost. You were adding role play to the mechanic rather than the other way around. But I get what you're saying, James, too. Is like
everyone hated it so much. Yeah. I hated it.
It's immersion breaking more than it is enhancing for a lot of people, other than the restaurant RP, the Civ RP, right? It's a real, like, what I appreciated about Nopixel, because I was a Civ for a very long time. Years, because I was music was my main thing, right? So I still did a lot of other role play. I love role playing. I'm not just a musician. I'm a role player. I love to role play. I love stories, drama, SBS, whatever. But for a long time, I guess my point is that people wouldn't go to Burger Shot if they didn't have to eat.
True.
And Civ RP.
I didn't even think about that.
It's so important. It's no, you're not an asshole though. You're not. It's just a discussion about that, because civs are so important to the balance of the server. They really are, because it's like
it grounds everything.
It does, and I do criminal RP now more. I am a criminal. Like I'm a 1%er criminal on the server, but I still interact with mechanics, people at restaurants, people on the street. You got to take a hostage. Like they're not just filler. They're characters with fully fleshed out lore, lives. They have relationships. They have, just because they're not, even if they never ever commit a crime, other than everyone speeds, but like they're still valid, and it feels like they're not filler, but it helps to fill out the reality that we're living in. And it's also a discussion about balance again, because I was so in love with the idea of storefronts. Like, because for me, the idea was, imagine driving down this street and like every business is real. Like, that is so immersive. Like, holy shit. Like that's so wild.
I'm so sorry.
But right, the initial idea on paper, right, it was like, this is holy shit. I'm going to drive down Strawberry and just like all these fucking places are businesses. I can just pull over and go into any of these stores and there's like a business. In practice, they're all empty with an NPC standing there.
Why just pay someone to work there? I wish
storefronts would have worked if if the storefronts would have worked if the map was like smaller.
Or
if it was smaller,
yeah,
like as Arma had a similar thing, right? But
yeah,
it was a strip, and there was like
yep.
loads of people there.
if,
'cause it was
if
so-
all of
it
the
was
storefronts
focused.
were
Yeah,
like Burger
Parking
Shot,
garage and the
it
restaurant
would be amazing. If they had open glass where you could see outside and it wasn't an instance.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they did to try to
That's
like
a-
save server memory, and it didn't even do that. So
No.
if there were glass and you could see, that would be incredible. And it was workers, not NPCs, workers.
The issue was the dev time, I think, to implement it, and then also they were concerned about lag, because the idea, sorry to spoil it for anybody that doesn't know, but when you walk into a house, it's
Yeah.
way below ground.
Trust me, I get thrown below ground all the time. I know.
Yeah. And you know, and I didn't realize that for a long time, but then, you know, it was someone told me that, and I'm like, holy shit, what? And that's why some places are flooded because there's water
That's my
down
favorite
there.
when you walk, you're like robbing
But-
a house and you
Squish. But and that's what everyone wanted too, right? It was a storefront where literally it was like Burger Shot. You could
Mhm.
see in, and you're right, that would have worked,
Yeah.
right? If you could see people standing in there, walking in and out.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
draws you in, and it makes it more immersive. When people just disappear into a wall.
it's annoying. I don't like it at all.
The storefronts were still like, you still have a choice. Like, oh, I need a lockpick today. Where, you know, when I was down in Vespucci, I was loyal to Colin McKinley's hardware store down in Vespucci because he was a BBMC member, you know, and it was in Vespucci. So I'd get my lockpicks there. But now that I'm not down there, I'm like, well, I'm out in Sandy. Oh, does anyone out here sell them? Oh, they sell them at the hardware store in Harmony. So I'll just go up there now, right? So there is a little bit of that immersion of commerce and choice and who you can be loyal to a business, but there's no one in there usually to talk to, and at least you know you're supporting the person that owns it. But what is the role play for the owner of the bit? Like, because Hubcap, I was opening a music store that sold the guitars, like, and it was all done. I had hired Felix from Burger Shot there to do my interior, and it was all the guitars were hung. It was like a really good music store looking thing, and I lost all interest in it after a while. Once it was decorated, I never opened it because I was just like, there's no role play here. Like, why am I even going to do this? Like, I don't even want to make guitars for people anymore because I have to go out and grind materials. There's no role play in it. I just lost, and you'd think that I'd just be, and I was excited as hell. It's a unique opportunity. No one else can make guitars. It's totally my thing. It's Hubcap's thing, but there was zero role play around it. As much as I tried to do that, all I'd be doing is posting on Twitter and advertising the business on Yellow Pages, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like, there was zero role play. I abandoned it. I feel bad, but I was just like, I don't give a shit about. And I was passionate to get these instruments into musicians' hands, so when they were up on stage, they could have a prop that made it look like they were playing. You know, there's actually a friggin' guitar there, and they're moving around and moving their hands, and it's immersive for everyone watching.
Hey,
for
real
them,
quick.
but-
Oh, God.
I love.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I love that above, like making money or try to give something unique to people, that like your priority is interaction. It's
I don't
role play behind it.
care. I just wanted
I just
to-
love that.
I've always been a role player first because, and we used to get into. Does anyone here remember when there were laws against loitering?
At the apartments?
At the
That was
I was
so good.
so angry.
I loved the loitering
I
laws
would-
of the apartments. I loved
What?
them. It was,
I was
so
so
funny,
pissed.
dude.
Because look, I can go way back to the Arma days when the term parking lot RP started, or circle RP started. It was in Arma, and there was literally one parking garage, like we said, one strip in Arma, right? There was that main strip, there was a bank, there was a parking garage, and there was like that friggin' fast food place up the road. So the hub where people met was the parking garage where everyone woke up and took out their cars. but we would get in trouble. Eventually, someone would come along and be like, "You guys need to move along," because they wanted to spread the role play out around the map, and this is to this day is still frowned upon for people to stand in a circle and
I
talk
think that's
to each
fine. I have
other.
nothing
I
wrong
think
with
it's
that.
gotten
I think it's
better.
great.
But even at the apartments, that's the hub. That's where newer players wake up. And so I would go to the apartments specifically to find new players to just introduce them to the city, talk to them.
Can I?
Yeah.
I want to be the devil's advocate.
Yeah, for sure. Please.
I understand why that's a rule because we've all role played for a long time. When you're in one place, one scene, the same people just standing around, it drains your creative energy. And you start to stupor and get comfortable, and maybe that's what was happening at the parking garage. It happens all over the server now. Now though, it's confined in gang compounds. You know,
that's like, fair. That is a good point. That's a good point. Yep.
But the way the way you're approaching it is, so you said you go there to find new people and then move somewhere else. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. Yeah. I think that's what the admins wanted. Right. But there were people that are getting too comfortable. I remember at the beginning of like the first couple months of 3.0, I'd walk out the apartments and I'd see the same people there just idling
all day long. Yeah, fair enough. But I think where my anger came from was the, like I would walk out of the apartments, see someone I haven't seen in 2 weeks, be like, "Holy, how have you been?" And we'd start up a conversation. They'd be recounting their last 2 weeks on the server. I'd tell them what I got up to, and a cop would come along and be like, "If you don't leave now, I'm going to arrest you." And I'd go, "Fuck yourself." And they go, "Well, I'm going to arrest you now." And I'm like, "I'm having a conversation here. Could you fuck off?" Like I would get actually mad because I'm like, I'm actually role playing on a role play server here. So for me personally, because I was role playing on a role play server with someone else role playing with me, so I always felt lumped in. I felt that was too much of a blanket situation. I understand why it had to be.
I think I'm just a bad person, and
no
people
admin's
getting
gonna
mad
sit
makes
there
me
invisible.
happy. So that's why I liked those laws.
That's fair, and I would, every now and then
me being that cop. The cop. Well, I could see me doing that.
And then people would role play as a security.
Yeah, I loved that.
They would make that their role play. They would loiter there all day, making it their role play. And I would do everything I could to mess with them because I'm like, no. I'd try to make role play out of it again. But like, I would be like, go fuck yourself. Like, are you serious? Like, I'm literally, role play is talking first. That's what I'm doing. So leave me alone now. Like, I don't care what character I'm on right now. You need to drive away from me now. Right now. Like, that's one of the only things that makes me angry is if I am role playing on a role play server.
I can't wait to grief you.
Grief me. I'm a 1%er now. I will shoot you
two questions. Okay.
Now. So I won't. That's the thing. I won't. I'll role play
going
with you.
from being like a burger shot civ to a 1%er criminal. But before that, I'm a bad podcast host. For the people who don't, if anybody doesn't know, I think we're all so familiar with you. Would you mind, and I'll like cut this to the beginning or something, would you mind telling us about who you play and what your character is and about them?
Yeah. I'm MikeTheBard. I stream on Twitch. I'm a full-time Nopixeler, really. It's all I stream for the most part. Like occasionally I'll jump into a new release with friends or something, but you know, it's just Nopixel 6 days a week. Dark. I can't wait.
You guys want
that with Troms and
Barbarian it up, baby. Barbarian it up.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be so good.
Hop on the finals with me.
Is that good? Is the finals good?
Let's do it. People are enjoying it. Yeah, they're having fun.
I think it's gonna go the way of Hyperscape. Though.
Be dead soon.
Yeah. I remember that one. I remember that.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
It's fun while it lasts, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I play Hubcap Jones, lead singer of Lovefist, and now a fully patched member of the Lost MC out in Sandy Shores. I'm Hubcap Jones, lead singer of Lovefist. It's nice to talk to you. I'm 72. I've got about 8 kids in the city. Barry Benson, the leader of the Bondi Boys. Andy Jones, second in command HOA. Lots of different kids. Bringle Dingus at Burger Shot. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, man. Now let's thanks for doing that. That was for me so I can to make the podcast seem cohesive. And then so what's it like going from the Burger Shot Lovefist to 1%er?
Yeah.
Let's be real. Your character's a 1%er to begin with. Although he did spend a lot of money.
What?
Right, because you're from Lovefist, you're rich.
That's what
you mean by 1%er? Like,
well, no, the 1%er in terms of motorcycle clubs means that they consider they wear a little 1% on their collar or somewhere on their cuts or their jackets. 1%er in that context means that actually came from World War II, and it's when both German and U.S. soldiers went back to their respective countries when the war was over. They didn't feel like they were part of society anymore because they were so like what they'd just been through. So it legitimately started out as like clubs, almost like a veterans
everybody has
club.
fucking PTSD and they're all trying not to kill everybody around them and themselves.
Exactly, and they just they just didn't fit in anymore, and they formed these clubs to be. And it's it's just like a veterans club. They have people they can relate to in this weird world that isn't what they just went through. And that's how it started. And it was the 1% means they're not part, almost like the 1% means
the exact origin of it. So I don't know if there's a bunch of different stories, right? And tell me if I'm wrong. This is your thing, but there was a news outlet because there was all these motorcycle groups, exactly what you're saying, like forming up, and they weren't doing anything wrong. They were just like clubs. And then they started, some guy came out and said, listen, 99% of these motorcycle clubs are good. All they want to do is go like make kids happy, help the neighborhood, have camaraderie, do stuff. So then the motorcycle gangs were like, we're the 1% that's not that. So that's what the 1% patch.
Yep. We're
in real life, if you see somebody with a 1% patch, he's either a poser or a very dangerous man.
That's correct. Yeah. Yep. And so that's what that means is that they consider themselves outliers of the law.
Mm-hmm.
Is essentially.
So what's that? Do you feel like you like have because I a lot of, especially that gang, the one you're in particular, they have this like aura about them that they've cultivated over years and years and years.
Mm-hmm. They went to war with this
there is no war in Sandy Shore.
Yeah, that's right. I won't get into it, but I have some personal knowledge about motorcycle gangs, but not in the way people are probably thinking. But I just have some personal anecdotes and knowledge about them, so it helps me to role play that because I know about them. But going from Civ to that. So for years, I role played a wandering musician. That was always how I started things. And then, Hubcap was a rich, world famous rock star was his lore. But the lore about why he was in, no, he can't get STDs. That's another thing that developed over the years. He has super blood because he had every STD, and then it formed a barrier. Yeah. But the reason why he's in Los Santos is because they were playing a tour. Lovefist was playing a tour, and they were in Los Santos, and his 3 bandmates died in the mansion they were renting in the cocaine vault that they had. And people are like, cocaine vault? And then the story is that the manager they had 2 cocaine vaults. Every city that they toured in, they would rent a mansion and then resell it for more money because Lovefist stayed there. So that was their business model when they were touring.
That's hilarious.
But they also owned 2 big cocaine vaults that they would piggy like a leapfrog from city to city, like Scrooge McDuck, huge vaults with a crane. Like they had to have them installed. That was the lore. So the other 3 band members died in the cocaine vault.
As they do.
So Hubcap, he found them in the morning dead in the cocaine vault is the story. There's a little more to it. But the police have kept him there, and they froze all his assets. So he was broke essentially, and that's why he ended up working a burger shot. And that was sort of
That's
his
awesome.
storyline. And he has to stay in Los Santos until the investigation's done, and they, all that stuff. But so he started out just a civ and a musician. I'd play concerts, and then I got hired at Burger Shot, and he got exposed to the crime element of the server from Shelly.
Of course, she's a
Because
dirty, filthy criminal.
Of course.
Because
super
but
terrorist.
the way she started was her and Ken Sama and
Oh, I
Okie
miss
Dokie
Okie.
would and Jeff would would go into the closet, change, come out. They would be wearing all black, and they'd sneak out a burger shot. We'd all just be there working and be like, "What the fuck are they doing? Like what?" And I would press them like, "Why are you all dressed like? Are you going to do crime or something?" And they'd be like, "No." And then they just leave, and they come back like an hour later, and one of them's in jail, and it was just like, what the hell are you doing? That's how Hubcap, got introduced to the crime in the city, was Shelly and Ken and Okie Dokie and Jeff sneaky, because they were the managers, and they would just sneak out and do that stuff. And so then Hubcap's official start to his crime was there was someone playing Satan on the server. A few people have done that over the years, but like he would only be around like once every couple of months. I don't remember who it was now. But the other part of Hubcap's lore is he became a rock star because he had the traditional deal with the devil. So when he was like 17, he was in his apartment just strumming a guitar, and the devil appeared and said, "Do you want to be a rock star?" And he said, "Okay." And then that was how he got his
Can you give me 1 second
fame
here?
was.
Sorry about
I
that.
didn't know that. I actually
Was
Yeah.
it
didn't know that.
Kiki? I know Milton played.
No.
the devil.
It was someone that was. I think he used to role play with the stable.
Did he also show up whenever somebody playing Santa would be around, and they would do like a little like good and bad role play?
I don't
kind of-
don't know. Like, he didn't look like Satan. He didn't wear a
Yeah.
Satan mask. He wasn't seemingly supernatural. He was just a man that was rich. He drove like a fancier, like a car, like a upper class car, and the license plate said Satan or something.
So
It wasn't
the
Red
devil
Harrington,
suit,
was
kinda.
it? Because I know
Yeah,
Red
Devil-
Harrington,
Devil in
the
his-
toe guy.
It wasn't red. It wasn't red. No, he adopted that later. Adapted that into a story later on. But anyway, one time the Satan guy was around, and there's actually
It
there's
wasn't
actually
Dunrun,
a
was it?
point where it
Thomas
might have
Dwayne?
been. Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yes.
I love
Thomas,
Don
yes.
Runner, dude. He's
That's
a
who
goat.
it was. That's exactly who it was, 100%. And so because he enabled this role play and sort of brought it into the modern lore for Hubcap. Someone was playing, so someone else had heard that lore and was playing Death. They were like dressed in like this black robe, and they had a skeleton face. And they came to, because Hubcap, the deal with Hubcap was he was going to die at 80. But Death showed up and said, "No, Satan said you're coming now." And who was it?
Viggo Mortensen.
Not Venus.
Venus de Milo.
I forget their name.
Uh,
Oh, it's right there. They were so
describe them?
talented. No,
Vertigo Gaming.
no. I know. I did stuff with Verts.
Vigo, are you sure it's not Viggo Mortensen?
That might have been it. Is that the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was
got it.
definitely them.
could it have perhaps been
Anyway.
a
I'm sorry if
Could it
they're
have been a
watching this. I'm so sorry. I
velocipede?
forget your username. Anyway, she also played Babe Calloway.
Oh,
They
that
played
sounds
Babe-
really familiar.
Calloway, yeah. They're not around much anymore, but they used to be on the server quite a bit. She had a southern accent, talk
Venom
like this.
Fly?
Babe
Oh.
Calloway, remember Babe? Venomfly, thank you. Oh, thank you. I wanted to say their name. And shout
I'm
them
still
out.
pretty sure it's.
I knew it was.
Vegan Lords.
I think you're right, though. I think it's the same person, but yeah, Venomfly.
There's actually a
thank you.
clip
Great,
on Venomfly's
amazing.
channel of them playing Death.
Yeah. So they that was one of the characters they played often, and that was when Burger Shot was on the pier. And anyway, they came up as Death to the window of Burger Shot. Can I help you? And it was Death. They're like, you know, you're Satan's calling your soul in now. Like, you coming with me now. So I had to role play negotiating with Death, and I ended up giving Death 12 hamburgers, and they let me have another like 20 years or something. And then Thomas somehow found out about it, and of course Satan's all knowing, so like got on the server, was like, so I heard you got 20 more years. And I'm like, yes, I did. He's like, well, just for that, it's only 19 then, because you cheated me out of your soul, blah, blah, blah. And it was this whole thing. The reason why I'm talking in length about all this is because how Hubcap got into crime was because the last time that I ever saw Thomas or Satan, he's like, do you want to drive my car for the rest of the day? And I'm like, sure. There was a red crystal in his glove box. And so I role played that it was like Satan's power crystal.
The
They gave him
Diablo
all-
crystal.
Yes, they gave
From
him all his
Diablo
evil
1.
power. So I took it, I stole it out of the glove box, and now Hubcap was wanted to do crime.
I loved that.
Hubcap became a trunk bandit.
That's so cool.
So all Hubcap did to start off his crime career, because he had this crystal on him and he role played about it all the time. Because Tomthy's his best friend. Tomthy's like, you're acting really weird.
You're
and
acting
I'm
real
like,
weird there, buddy.
yeah, exactly. It's this crystal. It's I just, and like if I gave it to someone, they'd role play that they were evil now, you know. But I went out and like Hubcap started going to Dean World and like robbing the trunks. That's how he got his start. He started going around the city then and like robbing people's trunks constantly, looking in their cars if they were unlocked. And that's how he got his. That's how it started off with that. And then so it went from watching Shelley do it to the Satan Crystal arc, as we called it, to finding out that Barry Benson was his son and the leader of the Bondi Boys. Well, he wasn't at the time. He was VP of the Bondi Boys. He started hanging out in Vespucci with his family, because that was his first real family RP that I really did, was with Bazagaza, who plays Barry Benson. And we kept in touch as father and son, and like I'd find out about the things he was doing, and eventually I just started hanging out there, and he'd take me with him on like a bank robbery or boosting or something. So I got to know all the BBMC, and the one thing led to another. There was the whole arc with Dundee getting shot in the head. I don't know if if you guys remember,
where he was
know
like,
about
he was
that.
like dead.
whole
Everybody
thing.
thought he was
Dundee
perma.
got shot in the head, but like he was in purgatory in Norman Bones'
so
purgatory
fun.
there. But Hubcap was there, and Hubcap was on his knees, and they made it look like they were going to shoot Hubcap.
And then that's right.
Like Hubcap was a major part of that whole thing.
Yeah, because then he ends up
And,
shooting the boss, right? And it was
He shot
everyone was like,
Dundee. It was a huge thing for the
I remember,
it was a huge historical situation. But then after that,
Would you have permed?
No,
I didn't.
I would have played that. Hubcap is so my main that I just, you know what I mean? Like I've got a ton of other characters that I have played, but I've just gone so
you don't just quit
deep.
your business. Yeah,
It is exactly, and I've gone so deep down Hubcap's story, and people are enjoying it that I don't want to take away from that time. If I do a subathon, I always have some unlocks that are I'll play this other character that like for a couple hours one day kind of thing. Like I have Coupon Guy who goes around. He's got a fanny pack, and he want coupon.
Oh, I knocked that guy out as stanky leg once.
Yes, yeah. So Coupon Guy, my 2.0 main was actually Jack.
Weaker than me.
That's right. Yeah. It's good times, right? And like Jack Nova, the rapper, the freestyle rapper, was my 2.0 main character, and Hubcap was my second. But like for 3.0, Hubcap's my main. I just can't. I don't have perma conditions for him. I love where the story has gone, like just gone from musician trapped in the city to 1%er bike gang. You know, it's a very rich story in between. So it's just interesting seeing where he's going to end up.
Awesome.
You know, he was just on a 24-hour hold and he got raided, so you can tell where this is headed. But the kind of shit he's going to get into. But yeah, no, it's been crazy, a crazy journey for Hubcap.
How come we didn't mention the creator of the Piss Pyres?
That is Victor Reed, the scientist who's actually he's older than Hubcap as a character, and I do bring him back occasionally, and he makes pee pyres or piss pyres, which are vampires that drink piss, and he takes them to.
I remember that shit.
Remember that?
Remember,
Yeah,
like,
remember
a lot
that?
of the lore.
He takes them to humane labs, and there's those vats in the back with the yellow liquid, and he tricks them into jumping into it, and that's the experiment, and then they become pee pyres. But there's a rich backstory of lore where he's actually a time traveler. His wife and daughter. There's like a real sad story. His wife and daughter died because they drank his nano milk experiment. In the future, he was a nano milk maker for the government, and he took his work home with him, and he was working late one night and accidentally put the nano milk experiment in the main family fridge instead of his
classic
science fridge. Right? And then, but his wife and daughter died. They woke up in the morning, had cereal, and they died before he woke up, and he found them. So then he spent the next 10 years inventing time travel, and he ended up back in Los Santos. And when people like, yeah, but you're making people piss pyres, he's like, it's related. It's part of the science. And then I usually string together some bullshit to make it fit. And like, I ask people when I'm not making people pee pyres or piss pyres, I ask them like, what did you do today? Oh, that's not what you said yesterday. And they're like, what do you mean? I've never met you before. And like, it's this whole dimension thing. And like,
that's
Mr. Freeze, but we're pissed.
When you said
really
you said one of the lines, it reminded me of Bert Kreischer so hard. That's so funny.
Bert, yeah. Nice. I tried another music character. My like newer character was Dank.
Dank Reedleaf.
No, Dank Sinatra.
Nice.
And he was a crooner, you know, like Frank Sinatra. He was a crooner. He was like a jazz singer. And
I saw you from I don't know whose POV, and I wanted to run into that character so much, but I never got the
I had a lot of
opportunity.
fun with that. That was going to be a new sort of a experiment to see if that would take. I got him, and my plan was to get him a job at Maldini's so he could run into the sort of more mafia style, like the Don. They were the Dons, and then they were Balbani, and like to try to match it up with Frank Sinatra and the alleged mob connections. You know what I mean? So that's where I wanted to go with that. I wanted him to actually be a criminal, but kind of a half civ criminal kind of thing. Cute. And so that was my most recent character. But I just once I started being hang around for the BBMC with Hubcap, I just went 100% in with Hubcap.
That's super good. I'm glad it's working out for you. It's when you've been doing this for so long. I think a lot of people can get burnout. A lot of people can lose the passion.
I got burnt out during. Yeah. I got burnt out.
I think the next time we have you on, we should talk about that. I think that's really interesting. But for now, we're getting close to the end. So I just think it's really good that you're able to have so much enjoyment, so much love for the craft. I can still tell that you just get excited about it, you know, and hearing somebody's been doing this for so long get excited about it is very good.
Yeah, we're very lucky.
We talked about it last week too. So we had Luke Diamond, Jackson Creed on last week, and I love when people create things on the server that transcend them, that go beyond just that one day of role play. And yeah, I know you do like improvised songs and whatnot, but your shows and like that kind of stuff, like the idea of creating music that transcends just you and that one day of role play is I think is very unique. We don't see enough of that.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Real quick, a couple questions for the boys. 52, is Carmine still indefinitely suspended, or did you actually get fired?
Still indefinitely suspended. I'm not too sure. I guess we'll.
You're not. Listen, I got indefinitely suspended, and then I got an email 12 hours later saying JK fired. So if you haven't gotten that, you're good, probably, right?
Nah. They need someone to make an example of, and Carmine.
I think that I trust Sab enough to find a way to make an example of you, but also keep you on because everybody loves you. I think everybody on the PD loves Carmine. They know that you 52 Chains have the best intentions and are role playing a very niche character. So I have faith that
I love Carmine.
It's so good.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about it really briefly. I'm okay if they fire. I'm not. I want to be okay with them firing my character. You know, I'd like it to be like a role play vector, like transition into something else, because all things should come to an end in role play. It gives the moment weight, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, I pigeonholed my streams on that one character's back,
and
right?
I think
him
you
being a
really
cop.
like it too, right?
Yeah, and I do, and mechanically I do enjoy playing a cop, and I like playing that character too. So, him not being a cop, it has OOC ramifications, but I don't want that to be a reason as to why it.
Yeah, you're
doesn't
not
happen.
saying please don't make me stop being a cop that'll ruin my stream, even though that might happen. But what you're saying is like you hope that things
It'll
sort themselves out.
Yeah.
That's
I'm trying to be
real-
honest.
I think we should have honest discussions like that because that's a real factor that is, you know, it might feel taboo to talk about, but sometimes in role play, repercussions can affect someone's livelihood, their ability to put food on the table. And it's hard, it's hard, I think, if your character is responsible for someone else's inability to continue a role play that they've maybe been working on for a while, or maybe it's a core of their character or whatever. It's in someone else's hands whether or not you're going to be successful as a streamer. That's tough. That's a tough balance. And oof.
I'll be honest, in a perfect world, I wouldn't want OOC things to have any kind of leverage in character. But you know, we live in a world where Nopixel is a thing, and a lot of people make money. It's the business and it's a role play server. So
can we
that's fair.
And finding balance is hard.
If we look at my concurrent viewership from the month before I got fired from PD and the month after I got fired from PD, and the month after I didn't stop streaming yet, I just kept it going and like trying to do the lawyer thing. And my viewership, I was just about to start hitting on average. I was at like 18 CCV, right? Which is like, once you're getting into like the 15 pluses and it's growing, you know, once you can see the upward trajectory, that's like a really good motivating thing. That's indicative of like the ability to continue growth, right? Which is, you know, what do they say? Like statistically, like 95% of Twitch streamers have less than 5 viewers. So that's fine. I was happy with that. I was happy with the growth. And I was happy with where I was. My schedule was really firm with being cop, you know, it really was comfortable. And then I got fired and it dropped down to like 3 or 4 viewers. Right. And I've got regulars, you know, I'll pop up to 7 or 8 or now again. And, you know, I've got homies, you know, 52, you know, throw me a raid. And, you know, my buddy Cotton, who is a Twitch streamer, he'll throw me a raid every now and then. And that's fun. You know, it's nice, but it's just, the motivation's not there. You can tell that my heart's not in it. It's just like not being a cop it's like all I want to do. It's all I want to do on the server. It's so fun. It's so exciting. And it just feels like if you can't do that, then once you've done it, once you can't do it anymore, it feels so hard to progress. But then I started playing my Pyro Criminal and my viewership started going up again. I was like 13, 14 for like 2 weeks in a row. It was awesome. It was super fun. And then the prio things happened. And then I was like, okay, I don't have pre 10-minute prio anymore, but I can, you know, I'm like 15, 16 when the server starts after 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine. I can work with that. I'll start an hour and a half or 2 after the stream starts or after the server resets. And then it was like, oh, actually, just kidding. You have no prio now. It's like, why'd you double whammy me, boys? Why'd you double whammy?
Yeah. It's hard because a lot of this stuff's out of your control as a role player and also as a streamer, and where those two things intersect. A lot of this shit's out of your control.
But that's really exactly why I'm like re-gearing my stream, I'm moving my gym in from my garage into my like the biggest room in the house, and I'm gonna get the lighting. I'm gonna start doing fitness content that I'm really excited about.
See, that's amazing.
But and now I'm able to start role playing for fun, and that's so exciting. I'm so fucking excited to finish my work day, go do my second job, which is like fitness content, and then go relax and play some role play. That sounds awesome. When's the last time you got to do that?
That does sound really cool.
Yeah.
No.
Not in a while.
No, sir. Nope. No.
Yeah.
Not at all. But yeah, I mean, I still have fun with it. But yeah, I've never had where it's just like, I'm just gonna pop in, and no, it's like, no, my stream's live, and I've got a routine, and you know.
What about you, Troms? How's Moosebeard going? How's the PD situation? How's stream life? And maybe we can talk about the end of an era here.
It's been good. I think with the PD, unique changes are happening. I think they're going in the right direction for right now. We'll see how it turns out, like what things end up being. Don't really have a whole lot to say on it. Just kind of been going with the flow. Moosebeard got given unit lead of the Shark Rangers, and I gotta form it into something. So been racking my brain lately, trying to come up with a way to keep it the meme that it was. Because it's very meme kind of niche group, right? But I also want to make it something in line with the BTF, right? Like something that has like, we do serious-ish stuff.
Yeah, like maybe when people go out on the water, you guys, that's your serious time, but then otherwise you're dicking around.
Right. Yeah, and I want to keep that. So there's a lot of things I'm struggling with right now, just like balancing how serious I want it to be, as well as trying to create something that is gonna go beyond me. Like if Moosebeard were to leave the PD or Perma or anything like that, I want to create a unit that would be able to withstand that and stick around, and people would still want to use it. And it's got enough uniqueness that you want to be in it for whatever reasons, right? So that's been like what I've been thinking about the last little while. As far as roleplay goes, it's been good. No complaints. Server feels like it's in an okay place right now, so
yeah,
I'm happy enough.
And
nice.
Let's talk about the end of an era. Our boy,
that's
our
right,
guy, my man's.
Well,
wow.
First of all, I want to say that I love you, Mike, because this was a very good way to kind of like end it out.
Love you too, buddy.
3 years ago, it's 2019, I was in the Vanilla Unicorn on Moosebeard trying to make connections. And maybe I can't remember exactly when it was. It was a long time ago. And I believe it was you there on your other music character. What's his name? I just never remember his name. The
rapper?
Yeah.
Jack Nova. And he's got the
Nova.
it looks like it's this guy right here.
The brobe. Is that it? So you call it the brobe or whatever?
Yeah, the brobe. Yeah, that was he had a fashion line, the brobe and the
I believe you were at the Vanilla Unicorn and you were putting on a show, and I remember saying to like my 3 viewers at the time that I thought this was amazing, that somebody was on the server making music, and I was just so like bright-eyed, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And then of course I could never ever get into the server because it was like 30 to 50 slots or something like that at the time. So, but for the couple days that I actually did get Moosebeard on, that was one of the experiences that stuck with me.
That's amazing.
It's like seeing a show like that and just being like, damn, like here I am with all these talented people.
Yeah.
And then this many years later, here I am still doing that and still hanging out with all these amazing people. Not only that, like doing role play with them, but hanging out, playing games, doing a podcast, playing Dark and Darker, right?
Yeah.
Like I know you and I both really enjoyed that, and I had a good time. And listen, okay, I said it as soon as you joined the call. I was like, oh my god, it's MikeTheBard. It's actually him. It's Mike the Bard. He wants to hang out.
Oh my god. I was
Starstruck.
I was equally as starstruck playing games with you.
You stop that. You stop that right now.
World of Drift's legend over here.
That's right. That is
Yeah.
okay. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe you're in the
Hey,
right. Maybe you're
I'm
in
an
the right.
alpha player. Maybe we could load into alpha together and play Worlds of Drift Alpha.
Oh God. Oh God. As far as the podcast goes, this has been amazing. It was however many weeks, months, started in like summer of last year, and it was such a good like look and perspective for me at everything that goes on and all the different people that are just out there, and just meeting new people, but also getting to know who plays the characters. And I've always found that very important with Nopixel is understanding the person behind the character and who they are, and like kind of why they do what they do, right?
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the most important things about all this. I think we during my time had a good deep dive into everything Nopixel related, whether it was something of controversy or if it was just something that maybe opened my eyes to a different avenue for roleplay. There were certain things that also inspired me, things that guttural Steve would say about like, oh, I didn't realize like people thought this way about roleplay, like listening to how we talk about it. And then he'd say things like, oh, I decided to like take some of your guys' ideals and bring them into my own roleplay, and it's really helped better like stuff that I've been doing.
Nice.
Right. And I think in the same way I have done similar, right? Meeting, like the guys from Marabunta Grande, or, just people I've never interacted with before, or maybe I've interacted with a couple times, but just got to like meet and know them and understand a section of the server and of the community that I have no part in, right? It's been good. It's been really good.
It has.
Yeah.
And it will continue.
Hell yeah.
Right, boys?
Yeah.
Can't hold us back, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
You guys can
Nice.
check next week for special guest, insert name here. New guest host.
Yeah.
Just have
Yeah.
it like tick across
I've
the
got,
screen right here.
you know what? I've got a bunch of people who want to guest host, but nobody who wants to commit to. I didn't realize how impressive it is that we've gone for this many times, because apparently committing to 2 hours a week is goddamn impossible. So thanks, man. I didn't know it was so hard.
Good stuff.
I'm
That's
gonna be
done.
honest. This is the one, other than streaming, this is one thing on the internet that I've committed
Same.
to.
I'm same. I can't believe I did either.
Yeah, actually, I'd say.
I mean, did you
Same
really
here.
commit to it? You're leaving, so like, did
I'm
you
a-
really commit?
Yeah.
Like,
It's 30 something weeks. So
32
I'd say
episodes.
that's pretty good commitment. That's like a
32.
good relationship, and then
Yeah.
you find someone else on Tinder, and
Wow.
sorry, I gotta break this off.
His
Wow,
balls
wow,
are
wow.
the same size, like uniform.
Is that what happened? You went to podcast Tinder?
Yeah, if you leave and go out join a host as somebody else, I would be so mad. I would be so fucking
Listen,
mad.
guys.
Yeah, just so
Listen,
you
guys.
know.
I've been in talks with Penta. Right?
I knew.
Hey, it's Penta, okay?
Could you imagine?
I'd actually be super
Yeah.
happy for you. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd definitely blackmail you into collabing. I've got so many
I
clips.
still
I've
don't
got
think
so
he
many
knows who I
clips.
am.
Penta's
Still
like
don't
that.
think he knows who I am.
Does he
man.
know who anybody is, really?
Yeah.
He knows who I am.
No,
I
he doesn't.
think he knows who Mike. He got my character indefinitely
That's what he
suspended.
does.
Okay, he better know.
Charlie
who the fuck
got
I
rehired
am.
or something, so he had to go after someone else. Okay,
God.
Troms,
He better.
I have a little something for you. A little gift, a little thank you.
To the cake.
Wait, what?
I had so much
Did
cake
you? You had a
last
lot of
night,
cake?
man. I can't have another cake, please.
Just give me one
Another cake.
Shaikundo here. I'm just gonna. One Saikuno. Saikuno's here.
Wait,
I'm bringing
you're bringing
Saikuno.
Saikuno on the show as soon as I leave?
Yeah. That's your gift. That's they
That's my
picked
gift.
a replacement
New
for
host,
you. Yeah.
Saikuno.
Yeah.
Nice. What is this?
And here they are.
What is this? What the hell is this?
That's
Hey,
you.
that's me.
That's who?
Wait a
Right.
second.
Who the hell is
so
that?
my only ask here
Well,
is
this
that
is old.
52 and Mike, if you guys could keep commentary to the bottom. I really want Troms to get to experience this and not miss anything. So please watch and enjoy. Please make sure it's
What is
unmuted in the
this?
bottom right. You can unmute the video.
Yeah.
Just a little something.
Just watch it.
Look at this happy
passing
little
it
You
guy.
know what, Troms? I love you, man. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
I love you too, buddy. What did you do? Action.
So you're going by Troms now, nerd? What's up, douchebag? It's Tanner from high school. Remember me? Me and the guys used to give you a hard time in school. Sorry, you were just an easy target. I can see not much has changed. Remember Sarah? The girl you had a crush on? Yeah.
She had a crush on
We're
me.
married now. I make over 200,000.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I got a Mustang GT. I guess some things never change, huh, loser? Nice catching up. Pathetic. I got
See the script
I
in
got
your
a
eyes.
flight to
I can
catch.
see the script.
I'll miss you, Troms. Loser.
I love you, buddy.
I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm gonna see you almost every day on the server. But I'll miss you
That's
on the
true.
podcasts. Okay? I'm gonna miss getting into the podcast before you. I'm probably cringing right now
Okay.
on the podcast, our final podcast. Probably thinking about how stupid your beard looks. Anyway, intrusive thoughts win again. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the video.
I didn't make
Hey,
you guys
Troms,
anything.
still here. Just want to say great job on the podcast. You contribute your awesomeness to one of many great things that have been created within the Nopixel community. You are amazing hosts, and that's thanks to how much of an amazing person you are yourself. You're a
What
great
the
person to
hell?
know, and I'm sure there's so many people, including myself, that are glad to consider you a friend. Thanks for what you've done, and we're looking forward to what future Troms has in store for us.
Why is he so
What up,
cute?
Troms? It's me,
Wetbo
Wetbo. I was on episode 4 of the Yespixel podcast.
remember.
Definitely the best episode. But I just wanted to say that the Yespixel podcast is without a doubt the greatest podcast ever in terms of Nopixel. And I also wanted to say that without you, I definitely think it couldn't have reached that point. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for the community. Thank you for letting me be a part of the podcast. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
All right. Hello,
What the
Mr. Troms.
fuck? No
You get face
way.
reveal. No one else really on NoPixel has seen the face reveal. You also get
We couldn't even
doggo
get her
reveal.
turn
She's
camera
awesome.
on.
She's amazing. Anyway, just doing you a quick message here. I hear you are no longer going to be the host for the Yespixel podcast. I just want to let you know.
Future host.
I know we
right
haven't
here.
had too much time out of the server. I know a lot of the stuff that we've done is in RP, but you are a fantastic person. It's been a pleasure to
my
get to know
God.
you, both in server as well as out of it. Doing the podcast was great. Really enjoyed it. It's not only with like yourself and but specifically with 52. It's really helped, build some connections there. So, just wanted to say that appreciate your time. You'll be missed, and congratulations. You're like one of the few people in NoPixel who gets to see my beautiful face, get to see the beard that I'm working
he did
on.
do a
Maybe
face
not
cam,
quite to the
though.
same degree as yours quite yet, but I'm also working on it. Beard game recognizes beard game. All right,
Yes,
you have a good one.
sir.
See you around, and
Oh my
you're
God.
fucking awesome, man. Bye.
I love your.
Hey, Troms, Walnut here.
Oh, is this on his stream?
Thanks for being the host.
What?
You're a good guy. I genuinely like you. I think it was kind of weird that during our entire podcast I was on, you basically just kept interrupting me and telling me to stop talking.
Yeah, he wouldn't shut up.
But I guess whatever, man. I don't know, man. You're a good friend otherwise. And the other people said you were a nice host, so I think that was just my podcast that sucked, but
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Well,
bye.
Hey, Troms, it's
Bye,
Noodle.
buddy.
Want to let you know you're a hell of a host and a hell of a guy.
Hold on. Pause
Thanks
the
for
video.
being
Pause the video.
kind
Pause the
and
video.
welcoming.
Who the fuck? That wasn't rude from before.
That was Voladin. That's
That's
Voladin.
Voladin. on his camera phone, he
They
sounded like
kinda sounded
Noodle.
similar, yeah.
Oh my
Are you ready?
god.
And fun to chat with, bud.
My mind is.
Appreciate
I'm sorry,
you for just being
Voladin.
you.
Is this Ness?
Troms is a great man. Thank you, Troms, for letting me
Sounds
borrow
like he's
your
at gunpoint.
Lambo. And thank you for letting me be on your show. And thank you for letting you be the best person you could be and a good friend to all. And
My
to
finger was on
all,
the
a
trigger.
good night. You're a great, Troms. Thank you for letting
Nice
me
friend.
borrow your
Thank you,
Lambo.
Nesk.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Hey, Troms.
Yes!
It's Walter F. Moses, also known as WTF Moses. I'm a cop and also a friend. I just wanted to
I'm
say,
a cop.
I think that you're a great guy. I think that your podcast and the hosting thereof has been very beneficial to the wide world of Nopixel, and I hope that whatever you do next, is exciting, and that you have a good day,
On GTA.
and that I love you.
I love you too, Moses.
Hey Troms, you big nerd. It's
Oh,
Fiend.
goodness,
I just wanted to say
James.
hey and wish you the best. Wanted to let you know that I consider you a really good friend, and I want
he's
to
looking
thank you
right at
for
me.
everything you do for the NoPixel community.
Guys,
I
he's
think that
saying
you
it
are
to
an
me.
inspiration to a lot of people. I think that you were a trendsetter for the type of roleplay that
Oh no.
has been created lately in the PD, and I think that that's a testament to the kind of person you are and the kind of quality of friendship that you provide to people, whether it be outside of NoPixel or inside of it. And I hope the best for you, and I look forward to seeing you back on the podcast sometime soon.
I made his character break up with me.
So I was just sitting here thinking about how good of a podcast host Troms is, and my nose just started running with blood, and I don't know what the deal is, but here we are. And not only is he a good podcast host for the Yespixel podcast, he's just an awesome dude to talk to, and he has a beer that you kind of just want to climb in and fall asleep in, take a
And
nap.
you could at this point.
Troms is a well-rounded person, obviously
Everyone's
awesome at
about to
RP, but above all else, he's an awesome dude. Thank you, Troms, for having me on the podcast.
Guys.
Appreciate you, brother.
Hey, Troms. Just wanted to make you a bit of food here as a show of appreciation, of my appreciation that I have for you. You're probably one of my favorite people to roleplay with and to hang out with in general when we do the very limited variety that we've done together. It's always a blast. And yeah, I would say that I'm happy I share the first name, a similar enough
And the first
username
letter of the
to
last
character
name.
nickname ratio for us to get mixed up with one another.
We have the same initials and the first.
I wouldn't want
same first
anyone
name.
else. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. Hydra asked me to do this, and I just took an edible. So, hey, keep it cool.
Was this last night? Oh my god,
I heard you taking a
no.
break from the podcast. Just wanted to say thank you for all the work that you've put into it so far. I think what you guys have created is super amazing. And having been on it, I was struck meeting you for the first time by how immediately obvious it is how much you care about people. You have an incredible talent for making people
gonna say how
feel
handsome I
heard
was.
and comfortable, even in situations that are inherently uncomfortable.
Why hasn't anyone brought that
So
up?
thank you for all that you've contributed, and I hope you have a great break.
Thank you.
Hey, Troms, half in here. Just wanted to say I appreciate you, my man. It's been fun past couple of years RPing with you. Looking forward to continuing to
I'm
do
not leaving
so.
RP.
Love all your characters.
They don't
And
think
thanks
he
for having me
died.
on, man. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Shout out to Troms.
By the way, you've
Man.
been permabanned.
Hey Troms, it's Sid. I just want to say thank you for being such a wonderful host on the podcast. During my time on the show, you made me feel really, really welcome, and I had the most fantastic time, and I can't wait to come back again soon.
Yo, what up, Troms? Much love, man. I want to say thank you for everything you do and everything you've done, bro.
He's got his
I hope you have a good
Noma
one,
mask,
and
dude.
man,
Rockstar
keep being
merch.
awesome, bro.
That's right.
So, and I wanted to go ahead
Thanks,
and
buddy.
thank you as well as Hydra and 52 Chains
the
for
voice.
making my first appearance on a podcast.
Oh, shit.
Super easy.
Do the voice.
And I
Oh,
hope you
shit,
enjoy
oh,
your
shit.
break, man. You deserve it.
Thanks.
Hey, Troms, how you doing, dude? Hey, I just wanted to say you
Dude, he's
are one
always
of the
dripping.
most positive people that I know, and you deserve the fucking world, my man. Really, you are great. So take it easy, brother. Enjoy your weekend. You are fucking amazing. All right, my man. Love you. See you later.
Hey Troms, it's Dash. Just want to say you are an awesome person and congratulations on the 32 episodes for hosting Nopixel podcast. We're going to miss you on the show, but I just want to say in the short time I've known you, you've been such a great friend and you're a fantastic RPer as well. Take care, buddy.
Hey Troms, it's Front. Just wanted to say that you and Hydra have been doing a great job for the podcast, and just want to say thank you for having me on the podcast as well. I've also always enjoyed our interactions when you've been on your Kappa Moose brother, or when you're on your Littleman Jim.
Hello, Troms. It's me, Guttural Steve. Just wanted to leave you a little note here.
What is this?
From my mouth hole to your
Where is
holes
he?
in your ears. That I love you.
I love you too.
And I
buddy.
appreciate everything that you do on the podcast.
There's parents.
And I've learned a lot from y'all. You are a top-notch role player, an excellent
What did he
host,
record this on?
and I hope you enjoy your little bit of time off. And looking forward to seeing you back on the podcast, and hoping to chat with you someday in the near future on said podcast.
Yes, sir.
Much love to
Steve.
you. Appreciate everything that you do. Appreciate role playing with you. Enjoy your vacay.
Thanks, man.
Cuddle Steve up.
Troms, my guy, 32 episodes, bro. That's huge. It's been beautiful to watch the Yespixel cast and podcast grow. Thank you for having me at a time when nobody knew who Cleburne James was, but you brought me in and made me feel like I was just a part of the boys and the family. You're a great dude, man, a great heart, great RPer. Never stop being you and being just somebody that people love being around. You're an awesome dude, man. Keep it up. I know you're about to do a lot more great shit. Love you, man. Peace.
What's up,
Wait
Troms?
a second. Wait a second.
32 episodes on a podcast. That's a lot.
You're wearing the same
I think,
shirt.
Yeah. Most TV shows, you might get 20 episodes out of something like that, 30 before they get canceled. And here you are, 32 episodes deep. I have the privilege to be on your last episode. You really brought a lot to the show. And you are an incredible human being that I'm going to be on a podcast with in a couple of hours, this podcast. So I hope it goes well. I wish you well with everything you're working on
Yeah, I stayed
outside
up
of this
just to record
podcast,
this.
and I hope to see you on the podcast again soon. Keep up the great work, buddy.
Thanks, MikeTheBard.
You bet.
32 episodes on the Yespixel podcast, Troms. I didn't know when I was asking you for the first time if you wanted to do it that I was gonna make a best friend. I'm so happy that we got to do this. And I'm so happy that it was you and it was me and it was 52. And I know your time is valuable and you've got a bunch of things going on. But thank you for laying the groundwork for an incredible podcast. Thank you for making it so easy every week. Thanks for waking up at the crack of 9 to come join us.
That's early, man.
Without
That's
you,
really
I don't
early.
think I don't know if I would even be where I am right now. You were there for so many people in so many capacities. You've gone out of your way to be an incredible member of not only your Twitch community, but the Nopixel community and just your community of friends that you've built around you. People are gravitated towards you because you're an incredible person. And to get to share 32 awesome episodes of the Yespixel podcast with you is incredible. And, we'll have you back on as a guest. If you ever want your spot back, you can have it. Unless it's Moose Brother, then you guys got to fight to the death. You know, good luck. He's wired.
I'll take Chain Spot.
I love you, man. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for being such a great friend.
Thank you, man.
What episode is it?
Hold on, what episode number are we on?
11.
3, 2, 1, and action. I feel like I asked that so many times. What episode are we on? Guys, what do I even say to that? That's not fair. That's too kind. I didn't expect any of that.
That was nice.
It was really nice. Thank you, guys.
Love you, buddy.
I feel like I can't leave now. All right, I guess I'm not leaving the podcast
contractually,
anymore.
you have to go.
No, it's been so good. Thank you, everybody.
Man. Everybody loves you, dude.
You're all right, I guess.
I'll be honest, I had to
okay.
re-record mine like 6 times because I started crying every time. That last one was like, I was all cried out. I was like, okay, we can do it.
You just all no tears
there was
left.
one, if you look close, there was one tear running down. I was trying.
I did see that. I thought it was an artifact. So
I was trying so hard. I was like, just hold it together. You can do this.
Do you know how many times I had to read that Tanner copy pasta? I couldn't even remember it. I kept looking. I fucked it up in that one. I fucked it up. There's a few things I wanted to add, but anyway, you're still a loser, Troms.
Troms. Before we hold on, so Mike, before we call it here, anywhere you want to shout out? Spotify, Twitch, anything you got going on?
I stream 6 days a week. Twitch.tv/MikeTheBard.
You guys know where to go find him. He's great streams. I've actually never watched a single one of his streams, but they're great. Trust me. Lots of people are talking about how great they are.
He's not lying. He's never.
Especially the camera on the guitar when he's.
Oh, I saw clips though. I mean, that's basically watching the stream. Troms.
Yeah. It is
Troms.
same thing.
Any parting words for all of the fans, for all of the guests, for the hosts? Anything you want to say before we start the podcast with you as one of the official hosts for the last time?
Once again, it's been really good, and value my time on this podcast a lot. Fond memories all around. Good handshakes. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, sub to Troms.
Yespixel.
Nice one,
Number
dude.
32. End of an era. Seriously, sub to Troms.